Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and over on that other side of the screen is Connor.
Yes, it is.
That was far too enthusiastic for your introduction. I feel like I've committed a great shame.
Yeah, that was a lot of pep. What's going on?
I don't know.
Someone's just had their Red Bull.
I'm a little bit off. No Red Bull tonight. No energy drink.
Okay.
So I don't know what's happening. I don't know. But cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
End of the world.
Yeah. So yeah, we got DC shows to talk about. We'll be talking about Supergirl, Titans, The Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning, and Legends of Tomorrow. Not in that order. I just went with what came out first.
And for a lot of them, it's the mid-season finale.
That is true. That is true for a lot of them.
Yeah. That's so unprofessional. And do you know what's makes it worse? Is that it's not even a Red Bull.
No, it's not.
After I just set that up.
I told you there was no Red Bull tonight.
I know.
I wasn't lying.
I know, but you had a lead in. If you were going for comedic effect with opening the can, if it had been a Red Bull, I'd have allowed it. But it wasn't.
I just forgot to open it before we started, so I just had to go for a beat that worked.
Do you want to talk about shows?
We're getting yours to talk about first.
Oh, do we? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got a few tidbits on the news.
These had better be interesting.
Well, I think one or two of them are a bit more interesting. We have a rumored start date for the pilot of Batwoman, as in the production of said pilot, which stands to reason given when they typically shoot pilots. But they're going to be shooting it apparently in April, which would make sense for the green light in May and then the series launching in October, say.
Yeah,
potentially mid-season as well. It could be January, February as well. I mean, for all we know.
It could be, yeah. I mean, I with them being confident enough to come out of the crossover for it, it feels likely that they're going to pick it up. They're already, it's not like when they tried that Wonder Woman one a few years ago, and it was just like, oh, well, we'll see.
Wonder Woman 1. Was
this not CW? It was like 5 years ago now.
Oh, Wonder Woman wasn't CW. You're thinking of the Adrian, what was her face from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. Did CW not try one as well?
Not that I remember. That one you're thinking of, I want to say was NBC.
Yeah, I wasn't that one though. I thought CW had one as well.
That one with the awful costume. Yeah, that was because that was before she was ever on S.H.I.E.L.D. That was like 2 years before she was on S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, that was going back a bit now.
Yeah, that was that one. I thought CW had an attempt at some point.
Not recently, I don't think. Not that I remember.
No, fair enough.
I feel like everything that's been in development as a DC show at CW since Arrow started has happened. Has there been any ones that went nowhere? I don't think so.
Yeah.
In terms of what they've officially confirmed was in development.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been rumours about things that never went anywhere, but that's...
Yeah, it's different.
But yeah, so yeah, apparently going to start shooting it in April, according to the scuttlebutt, so... you got to trust the scuttle, the butt of the scuttle.
I mean, it's the best we got.
Yeah. So no, curious to see. Obviously, we'll see. We'll have opinions on Batwoman next week, because we'll be talking about the crossover next week. We should be back at the regular time for the podcast get up next week, by the way, because this is the second week in a row. We've been a little bit late, a little bit later than usual. Although this one, I'm going to try and put this up. Not wait until tomorrow. I'm going to try and put this up sometime late in the evening.
What he means is he's going to try not to fall asleep while it exports.
Why do you say that as if that's what caused it to be late last week?
Because it probably is.
No, it wasn't.
All right, fine. Oh, no, okay. Last week you actually had technical issues, didn't you?
What? There was no technical issues.
Was that not this show last week?
No, that was Oh, there was a technical issue technically with this show, but that didn't delay it beyond when it should have been up though.
Okay.
That was just a technical hitch that happened. Yeah, I was being early, and then it gave me a technical hitch.
Okay. See, I remembered the technical hitch and assumed that it was later because of that.
No. Now you're thinking of the was it the movie news that was up late in the night?
Yeah.
Because of a technical hitch, which ended up with me on new editing software for the first time in years. But you know what? I've divorced Premiere. Premiere can kiss my ass.
It's dead to you.
It's dead to me. I don't want no part of it. But yeah, we should be back in a regular Friday slot next week. Maybe even earlier. I don't know. I've not looked at the schedule yet. It'd be nice to get earlier because it's a crossover and it's big and exciting, but we'll see. but Friday at the latest next week. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And speaking of the crossover, we should mention, obviously these technically came in the episodes, but it was on like 3 different shows this week. I think we should probably talk about the teaser or the post-credit scene right now.
Yeah, because to be fair as well, they released it as a trailer.
They did,
before it was in any of the episodes as well.
Yeah, but it is a post-credit sequence that was in in all 3 of the Flash, Supergirl, and Arrow. And I don't think it's going to be in the crossover itself. I think it is like a prologue kind of scene. So it is a post-credit scene in the traditional sense that it is there itself and plot. Yeah. But they did also release it as a standalone teaser because it works that way as well. It's just kind of on its own. So we'll talk about that here, I think, because it's not necessarily related to any one of those shows specifically. It's just kind of
crossover hype.
And it's the final of the teaser because we had the Batwoman one, we had the Flash one, the Arrow one, the Supergirl one. And did we have the full trailer last week where we actually got to see the Monitor and the Doctor and everyone? Was that before last week's show?
It was, because I remember you talking about his hair.
You're right, I did. I talked about his mullet. Quite right. So this is the final, as it were, but again, it's also more of a post-credit scene than it is a teaser. But it says Earth 90, which, as far as we've been told on these shows so far, there's only 53 Earths. There's 52 plus Earth X, because I remember that conversation from last crossover.
This was only a year ago.
Yeah, it was very specific. Harry was like, no, there's a 53rd, there's the X Earth.
Yeah, 90s. It's the Dark Multiverse.
Sure. Maybe that's where we're going with this Dark Multiverse, but it's Earth 90, and there's a lot of cameo stuff here. There's like dead bodies of like various superheroes. The most notable one perhaps being the Smallville version of Green Arrow. You don't see a face, obviously, but you see like the costume
that leather sleeveless thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Regardless of thoughts on that Green Arrow, it is a notable Easter egg.
It's a notable Easter egg, but I hated that outfit. Leave it be gone. Thank you very much.
I'm not arguing.
There was Hawk Girl helmets. There was the Stargirl line.
Yeah, Firestorm was there. The Ray helmet.
Yeah, Ray helmet. So it's mostly stuff I've seen before. The Smallville one was kind of the most notable in the sense that it was like, oh, here's something from Smallville, because we've never done that before. But at least I remember doing anything.
Other than seeing a glimpse of the Kent farm in the trailer last week.
Oh, I'm not really counting that because that's just the Kent farm in this world as well.
Yeah. The Kent farm is multiversal.
Or in Supergirl's world. It's just the Kent farm's the same. That's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas this is something from Smallville that we're never going to do. Or
you hope.
Well, I mean, they could have Justin Hartley come on.
How busy is Justin Hartley right now?
He's got This Is Us. He's a busy man. He's way outgrown this stuff. So
there was a time after Smallville before This Is Us that he just did medical dramas, though.
That's true. But you know what I mean, though. This is a thing that like we have our own Green Arrow. We're not going to. This is just a little joke or a little, Easter egg. Whereas the Kent farm is no. We're going to use that farm because it's a good set to have the.
It is a good set
for the Kent farm. That's different. And that's still part of the same crossover. I meant in the past, like, has there ever been like an Easter egg relating to Smallville in any way? I suppose the only one that really comes to mind was the reference to Chloe in the Wall of Weird and Supergirl. But that was a verbal reference as opposed to here's a proper location.
Yeah, because obviously the Queen mansion back at the start of Arrow was Lex's mansion, right?
Yeah, I don't think that was an Easter egg. I feel like that was just because that was a mansion they had.
This is a cool mansion.
Yeah, we've got access to use this mansion.
Yeah, because it was never addressed or referenced or anything like that.
Yeah,
I just mean because there was a lot of talk around that at the start of the show when Smallville was still fresh.
Well, there's only so many mansions in the world. They kind of have to reuse them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't begrudge them that. It's a very appropriate mansion for the job.
Yes. So you get that, and it basically ends with 90s Flash like crawling at the feet of the the Monitor.
Yeah, careful there.
I know, very different character. And the Monitor's like, you did this to yourself, and then he closes his book, and then he's, Flash is basically good as dead, but he says, you know what, I'm not having this, and he speeds off towards the camera, implying that he's coming for help to other Earths, Earths specifically.
Things I love here is that Earth 90 for Flash 90.
That's a nice touch, cool. Yeah.
And also, I'm not the biggest Elfman fan, but god damn it, that theme is good.
I mean, the theme's okay. I don't necessarily love it, but I like the use of it. I like the use of pulling out the 90s Flash theme tune as he runs towards the camera, because I can see them using it in the crossover itself when he first shows up.
Yeah, I would.
And it's such a product of its time, because they got Elfman to do that theme because he just done Batman, the movie, and it made sense. Get Elfman to do the DC character.
To be fair, he was knocking out themes all over the place back then.
Yeah, I'm just thinking superhero stuff specifically. You know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing if I'm doing Batman the animated series. It's like, oh yeah, get him from the movie. Yeah, get him too.
You do, don't you?
Although Shirley Walker's theme is superior. Thank you very much. I'll fight anyone on it.
It is on par.
It's superior. So, so that teaser's fine. It sets up the monitor, sets up 90s Flash, and there's chaos coming from the other worlds, and we may actually have some sort of a crisis on our hands.
I am ready to be seriously disappointed by this crossover because I'm way too excited.
I think
it's not going to live up to my expectations.
The trick is to go in expecting messy fun.
It's too late for that. I'm expecting the world.
Well, I'm not, so I think I'll be more satisfied than you.
They shot too high.
Unless they just completely whiff, but I genuinely think their crossovers have gradually gotten better with each one.
Last year's was excellent.
Because Invasion was Earth X was my favourite one. And Invasion was the best one before that.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So I think they have been getting better as they go. So hopefully this continues that trend. And if not, then if it's at least on par with Invasion, I'll be fairly happy. So.
Yeah, that's true. That was still good enough.
Yeah, it was fun. You remember we had like a Killer Frost doing the Iceman thing up to the Legends ship? She did the big ice ramp.
She did. Oh man, that was fun.
And she's never done it since, even though that would be very useful in many situations. It
would indeed. More on Killer Frost being useful later.
Yes, yeah. Well, she's very useful this week. Very useful. So yeah, and just one last bit of news before we get onto the shows. Some casting for Supergirl. Major crimes actor Jessica Meraz has been cast as the Menagerie on Supergirl. She is one of Manchester Black's elite, so we're getting his elite later in the season. So
we were wondering for a while if they were going to do the elite or how they were going to tackle it.
It makes more sense to me given where the mid-season finale ends.
I agree.
So we'll talk about that when we get to the show. But worth mentioning, she's been cast. So that's cool. And what's exciting is all that news that we just talked about was all exclusive to this show. We never talked about it on TV news because I felt it was all just specific enough to this that it could just be this show.
What he means is not interesting enough for the main show. But
no,
it's DC TV related, so we'll throw it on here.
No, it's interesting enough to people who specifically care about the DC shows, but it's not necessarily interesting enough for a general news show where people who don't care about DC are going to give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Don't try and put it in a box, all right?
I'm just going to undermine everything you do. Yes. Like, I'm going to undermine your order in a minute.
My order?
Yeah, the order of your shows.
Why?
Because obviously, Flash 100 should go first, even though it didn't air first.
No, I disagree with this. This goes in order. Now, next week, I will agree that all the crossover episodes will go first because they're connected.
I am playing by the rules of the comics from the multiverse, where when there's huge special issues, event issues, landmarks, they get bumped to the top of the queue.
Well, tough titty, because I've got Titans ready to go here, and we're going to talk about Titans Season 1, Episode 8. It's called Donna Troy. And I'll say this right off the bat. This is getting the award for Best Line of Dialogue of the week.
Yeah.
And you're not arguing with that. I know you're not. You can. It's too good.
I don't think I can.
So the team basically splits up because they've dealt with what they think the threat is. They think, everything's done, we're safe now. And Starfire is going to take Raven and Beast Boy with Raven's mother back to her sister's house or something like that in Iowa.
And Dick's like, see you dudes.
Yeah. And Dick's, I'm going to go off in search of things, and there's this goodbye, and everyone's kind of okay with it. Except Raven, who's a bit upset, but then she gives him the big, runs after him and gives him the hug. It's whatever. It's a fine scene. It's not great, it's not bad, it's fine. But he goes to see Donna because he wants advice. Donna, if you don't know who Donna is the sidekick to Wonder Woman. She's Wonder Girl, the first Wonder Girl. And he goes to her. We see a flashback of them as kids, setting up that they've known each other since then. They were sidekick kids together, and it's not a great scene because, as always, young Dick is a horrible actor. It is at least somewhat interesting in that it's the first time we've had a kid flashback where he's already Robin.
It's interesting in that sense. It's interesting that we hear that, Wonder Woman's active. There's a Justice League.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's references to many things.
However, young Donna wasn't that much better than. I mean, she was better than young Dick. It's a very low bar, but my God, them going back and forth was just mind-numbing.
Luckily, though, older Donna in present day is actually quite good and quite charming.
She is extremely charismatic.
Yes, and plays very well off Dick.
Hold the jokes.
Who doesn't play well off Dick? So he shows up, kind of wanting advice because he's quitting. She's like, "Oh, very good. I thought you'd already quit Batman." And he's like, I did quit, but I know I've quit being Robin. She's like, well, I didn't quit, I just stopped. And he's like, the one thing I'll criticise in their subplot is that an awful moment of CG. She shows off her parkour skills are still good, but it turns into a CG Donna, and it just looks kind of laughable. And I'm like,
it's not quite as bad, but it's nearly as bad as the kid Robin swinging on the tree.
Yeah. And do you know what the frustrating thing is that she does this fancy move in CG, and then Dick says, okay, fine. And then he jumps over the same truck. But he just, I mean, obviously it's maybe a stunt double, but the stunt double just does something that's still quite impressive. It's just not as impressive as Donna's, but it actually looks better because it's real. It's not this stupid CG thing.
Yeah,
because the actual movement she does is obviously more impressive because that's why it's CG, because it's unhuman. but
it just looks bad.
But it looks better when Dick does his thing because it's a real thing. But they have great chemistry, and she drags him to an art gallery show, a photography show more specifically. She's a photographer, and she's showing off her photos. And there's a lot of good humor here. Dick is not good at small talk, and he tries his best.
He's getting hit on by this guy, and he just goes off on this spiel on something about the camera.
Yeah, he's basically telling the story about how Donna got her first camera, and he kind of finishes it, and there's a natural pause for the other guy to come in and start talking, and start asking him questions, and Dick just starts monologuing and cutting him off to the point where this guy basically gets nodded to by his friends and uses it as a get out just to leave immediately. Yeah. And then Dick's left standing there just kind of realizing what's happened and realizing that he's still awful at small talk, and just says, I wonder what the Penguin's up to right now. It's a great line. It's a great line.
It is.
I can't fault it. It really made me laugh. It was an intentionally funny line that was hilarious, and I can't fault it.
What I'm gonna say is this might be the best episode of Titans, because episode 3 was not an episode of Titans.
4, but
it was an episode of Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So as an episode of Titans, this might be the best one.
I think I enjoyed the one at the motel a bit more.
Really?
Oh yeah, that had the him coming out as Robin in front of everyone.
I get it. That was certainly more consistent, but I had a lot more enjoyment out of all the Dick and Donna stuff.
It's definitely on an upward trend. I think it has been for the most part. There's been these little bumps in the road here or there, but
last week was pretty rough. Next week's doesn't look too hot.
Well, next week's is a weird one because we're getting a Hawk and Dove episode that seems to be disconnected from everything else. It's just about them, which is frustrating because this ends in a cliffhanger that's like, hey, I kind of want to get to the cliffhanger next week.
And because why? Why are we doing the Hawk and Dove flashback episode at episode 9?
Well, you have to assume it's going to be relevant afterwards, but which is why I'm not going to get annoyed about it right now.
You say that, but you should assume that Hawk and Dove would be relevant when they're introduced in episode 2. Yet they haven't been.
They were relevant at the time.
They were relevant for that episode.
Yeah, so what's your problem?
That episode 2 was way too early to introduce them and act like they're going to be a thing for it to be just episode 2.
Well, it's not just a thing. It's episode 9 as well, so...
No. Back. But that is so disconnected. Is my point. It's like, oh, episode 2, and then I suppose episode 9 as well. No. That's way too far apart for something like that to do so early in your show when we haven't even met Beast Boy yet. That is just the wrong move.
I don't know. That just feels like a weird complaint to me. I don't really care. Like, if anything, I like when shows like introduce something and don't bring it up until much later.
No. I have no problem with it being introduced and then coming back later. I just feel like introduce the team first and then introduce side characters.
Sure, whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't really care. You're hung up on this complaint. You've brought it up before.
It's really bothering me.
Donna's good. The chemistry is really good. She has this whole thing where she's trying to take down an illegal hunter who's selling furs and things like that, and animal tusks, and everything that's illegal that you shouldn't be hunting. And she's doing this as Donna Troy. She's a photographer. She's taking photos of it, and she's going to use this to like put them away. And Dick follows her and like jumps in and beats everyone up. And she's like, "What the hell are you doing, Dick? I had this. I had a plan. It was working. Everything was going smoothly." And then she asks me, like, "Here, take a phone of me lying next to the guy as if you've beat me up too, so that they'll trust me later." He's came in with his fists and not thought about the overall plan.
Classic Dick.
I don't know if it is classic Dick.
It is in this show.
It is in this show, but it's not classic comic book Dick. But yeah, he effed the situation. That's classic Dick. So they get talking about what he's going to do, and he is like, I still want to help people. I still want to be something, but I don't want to be Robin anymore. And we jokingly yelled out, "Oh, you have to be someone else. You have to be something else." And she almost says that. She says it like the other way around. She's like, "Well, be something else then. Be someone else." And I'm like, "She said it. She said the thing."
Yeah, I damned the drink for that one. Because how could I not?
The funny thing is, though, is it doesn't even come off as a cheesy, bad moment, though. It feels very natural. Maybe it's the performances, maybe it's just how the scene's written.
Yeah, but Arrow ruined it for them.
But it feels it's like someone saying who you're going to call in the right context is fine, but you can't just not think of Ghostbusters now. So that's just all that is. But obviously, what we're building to here is Nightwing. We're building to him deciding to be something else, which is Nightwing.
Yeah, and we'd better get a Christmas sticks and not the bloody Tim's bow staff. Still not happy about
that. Tim's not happening on this show.
But why not? We got Jason.
We have to kill Jason, and Tim has to be recruited.
That's happening next season.
Now we're skipping him and going straight to Damien, because there's more narrative things you can do with Damien.
Don't you dare. I will not stand for this.
I don't care what you want to stand for.
I'm not standing for it. We've got to have Tim.
Damien's more interest, and Damien can team up with Dick, and we can have Dick and Damien. That's the dream.
It is, but Tim first, because Tim is the best Robin.
So anyway, but it gets back to plot. I mean, it's a nice scene. They have good chemistry, and it gets back to plot with the when Donna looks at his phone to get the photos for her case. She sees some of the photos of Starfire stuff and is like, "Hey, what about this writing?" And she even name drops Themyscira and the Amazons and is like, "Oh,
yeah,
hey."
it's like it's a subdialect of Sumerian.
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, I saw stuff like this in Themyscira," and they race to where Corey and all that are going, and she's figuring it out. And the big thing is that it could be interpreted multiple ways, and one of them could be that Corey's been sent here to kill Raven or Rachel.
As they put it, take care of.
Yeah, so you could interpret that in multiple ways. And
which I assume will be the get out of jail clause.
Like she's programmed like a robot where she has to kind of
yeah.
fulfill it.
Convince her that take care of can be taken in another way.
Wait, what do you mean convince her, though? Because I don't think that Corey, as she's been, would need to be convinced. If she's in control, then...
Well, no, that's true. But I mean, I'm not entirely sure how this mind forgetting thing has gone. Like, is it deep programming that now, or is it more like that there was an accident and this is who she is, and
like for what you're saying, where this is the get out of jail, she has to be programmed, and this is how you trick the programming. I don't take it as you have to convince her because she's consciously making the choice to kill her. Well, that was my mission, so I guess I need to do it.
I mean, I don't know, because it depends. Once all her memories come back, and she's Starfire again, does she want to kill her?
Which by the way, Donna actually says Starfire when she's reading the things.
She does, yeah.
We get a name drop of Starfire for the first time.
Yeah. Does she want to kill Raven? Is it just programming, or is it that she believes this is the thing to do, and we get a kind of merging of personalities, the new personality that she's had over the past
if she believes it's a thing to do, then it's not a get out of jail free card though. If she originally believed it was the right thing to do and she's going to change her mind, that's a conscious choice. That is not a get out of jail free card. Maybe that's how she explains it to her higher ups. Should Tamaran ever come knocking? But
when I say is to use it as a way of convincing her that she has misinterpreted it. In that sense, it's get out of jail in that sense, not literally like okay, no, it's this or that. Maybe it was a poor choice of words.
Yeah, because the way you said it was like you're convincing a robot by finding a loophole.
Okay.
Like you've taken care of her, your mission's complete. Now you can stand down.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that. I meant more in the sense of this is how you convince, rather than just appealing to her better nature. You kind of go through the route of maybe you misinterpreted it and kind of go through that angle.
Well, that depends how she got the order, though. Like, did she decide with others to do this? This was the right thing to do. Was she told by higher ups? And if she was told by higher ups, then is it normal that she could get ambiguous orders that don't make sense unless you think about them? Like, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it was a written prophecy, right? And that's what and to take care of was not necessarily an order. Maybe the order was to go and kill her. But prophecy was still the same, and she was like, "Hang on, maybe the people who sent me misinterpreted."
Oh, if we're talking about a prophecy and what the prophecy means, then that's different.
Yeah.
Because then it's not a get out of jail though. Then it's just a case of is it this or that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But the way you said it, you made it sound like it was like, oh, we'll trick her, like as if she's like a sleeper agent who's been like not mind controlled, but mind. What do you call it? Brainwashed, thank you. And this is how you like satisfy the order, is that it's been taken care of because this is how you've interpreted it. But yeah. I feel like it's more about like her just regaining control and choosing not to, I guess. That said, the way it ends with her just kind of like firing up and grabbing her kind of implies that she has just like instantly reverted back to like a previous personality.
It does
of some kind. So I don't know. And obviously, if we have to rewind and look at their side of the story where they're on the train, and there was some fun stuff. Obviously, the Raven and her mother stuff was a bit melodramatic.
Yeah.
But and we found out some stuff there with she kind of confirms the timeline of she gave her up to her friend Audrey from Twin Peaks because she knew Trigon and she didn't name him. That's important. She's not named him
your
yet.
Father.
Yeah. But she's like, no, these people are his followers. They were after us, and so on. But the stuff with Beast Boy and Starfire, for the most part, I was having fun with. Hard like, you want to make out with Rachel, don't you? And he gets all nervous and stuff.
Yeah,
that was mostly entertaining.
Well, it was him drinking the whiskey, and then her being like, "How many of those have you had?"
Her thinking there's a spy, only for it to turn out to be a guy who was kind of like checking her out and like almost burning him because of it.
Yeah.
Amusing.
Yeah. I think just on the actual Rachel stuff, I'm feeling like her mother's like, I don't know, they wanted you to bring him here, so sort of thing, right? I'm imagining that's why she has to make the choice to bring him here, and she will do because no one's telling her the truth that it's a big demon dude, and she's like, I want to see my dad. I want to meet him for myself, and that's how this is going to happen.
And then Joe Bluff in and says, "I've made a huge mistake."
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that makes some sense. So the big question is just how they're going to handle the Corey stuff. Where is this like she goes into this fiery rage here at the end, but can they quickly talk her down and she can regain control? And if she does calm down, does she remember everything? Why was she given that order? Why, so on and so forth. So just what's going on? I think ultimately though she's going to obviously choose to stand with them, and they're going to be a team and take on Trigon or whatever, right? That's the obvious thing.
It is. Do you know what's really interesting is, obviously, we spoke before how there was an episode kind of cut from the end of the season pretty late on.
Yeah, cut or moved to season 2. I think it's maybe more accurate, but yeah.
Okay. For all intents, for right now, it's cut in terms of we're not seeing it at the end of the season. What was intended as the season finale is no longer. So we kind of had an idea of, okay, this ends with Trigon, it ends with him becoming Nightwing, right? You know, these things kind of falling into place, them deciding to be a team to stand against Trigon, maybe.
I don't know if we'll get to them deciding to be a team, given where we are now. Because I'm expecting the shock of Trigon's out, this is dangerous, and then maybe the team building will come next year.
Maybe not like, oh, we're a team, but more, you know, choosing to stay as a group. Like Dick choosing to stay with them, sort of thing, like
that. Maybe. I can almost just see it ending a cliffhanger, though. Like, Trigon's out, we're all screwed. Come back next season.
Yeah, that works as well. But, if that was all what we would have expected in the last episode, where do we end now? If we're ending earlier than that?
I don't know. We got 2 after the Hawk and Dove one.
Yeah.
So
I'm genuinely intrigued.
I'd still guess Trigon coming out. I'd still guess that's where we're ending in terms of the plot drama, is Trigon coming out of the portal or whatever. But as for the other stuff, I don't know. I think we're generally right in where it's heading for the most part. I just don't know how far it's getting before we end.
It's, in my memory at least, a relatively unique situation in that the episode was presumably shot. The footage is there, and they just decided, no, we're not using that now. So I'm intrigued as to how it works around that.
Admittedly, maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe it was a case of, because there's rumors that the last episode or 2 were introducing someone else, right? I'm wondering, what if the way they actually did it in the first place was that 11 actually is kind of the finale of the story, and the last 1 or 2 were actually going to be more of a prologue to the next season. So it made it an easy choice to cut them and just push them until season 2.
That's true.
Because what if they said, oh, we'll give you a guaranteed green light for season 2 if these 2 episodes can count as the first 2, and that way we're only green lighting 8 episodes instead of 10.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I'm also wondering if it's possible, like, okay, they had all the footage shot, but maybe they weren't, edited and cut into the episodes yet. Could we take some of the moments that were shot for the last episode, re-edit the one before, so that maybe we still get, okay, here's a Nightwing moment?
Oh, I mean, if it's a standalone enough scene, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends how it was written.
It does, yeah. And I'm not saying it's definitely that way, but it's possible.
Yeah. And that's to say that we're even going to have him be in the Nightwing suit by the end of the season, because I could still see it kind of being...
I think at the very least, I'm expecting him to pick a name or a symbol, or just, a design for it's something.
Maybe, yeah.
Picking up the sticks. He'll snap the staff in half and he'll pick up the sticks and be like, yes, this is it.
I'm not saying it's going to end this way, but I could even have seen it just be as simple as, like, it's like, okay, Trigon's out, we have to fight Trigon. They're basically standing in that scene where they all decide we have to work together and do this. And then they're about to leave and Dick turns around and says, wait a minute, I need to build a suit. And then just cut there. You even get the name, you don't get anything, it's just enough to know that he's doing something.
Yeah, I think there's got to be something that, okay, he's got an idea.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, the name kind of comes from Superman, so I'm wondering if we, in any way, kind of work that in.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible that he can offhandedly say it's a story Superman, because we've established now there's a Justice League, we've established there's a Wonder Woman, they're not afraid of name dropping these things.
So if you don't want to hear potential rumors that could be potential spoilers for what the episodes at the end they cut were, jump ahead to the next review, right? We're done talking about everything in this Titans episode, but I want to bring this up because I think it relates to the conversation that we're having. So there's always timestamps in the description. You can jump ahead to Supergirl, which will be next. But I'm warning you, and I don't think it's super spoilery, but if you don't want to know anything about what's maybe coming after the episodes we're getting, then you can skip ahead. So you've been warned. So it's coming in 3, 2, 1. So the rumours that I saw online were that the 2 episodes that were cut, because originally it was like 13, it went to 12, and then went to 11. The 2 that were cut apparently were going to introduce Superboy. And I'm wondering if maybe the reason why we don't get to Nightwing yet is because the name Nightwing will somehow come through Superboy. Like if Superboy, is looking up Kryptonian heritage and he starts talking about this sort of stuff, is that how we get to Nightwing hearing about, or Dick hearing about the Nightwing vigilante on Krypton?
Potentially. I feel like it has to be, if that is the route they take.
Yeah.
You can't have him choose the name for at least another season. He has to have a good enough bond with Superboy that means something to him to choose a story from his heritage for the name.
Well, I wasn't really thinking about him choosing it from Superboy's heritage. I'm just thinking about, because he already knows who Superman is.
Yeah, but he didn't choose it just because it was a cool name, right? He has, Superman tells him this story of who these heroes are, and that one kind of idolizes that, but partly because of his connection with Superman.
Yeah, I also like the joke that he thinks he's the one protecting the Kryptonians. It's kind of funny given what they are on Earth.
Yeah.
I'll protect you guys.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that. I mean, that might not be how they go. They might not even connect it to Superman in any way. They might just have him pick the name.
Yeah, could do.
But if they are, and they are interested in Superboy at the end of the season, or the start of season 2 now, then, is that how you get there? Is that how you somehow get into the Superman mythos?
Could be.
I would love for Donna to come back as well, actually.
I want Donna as a regular because she is the best part of the show. She's the best character after one episode. I'm definitively stating it.
Donna and Superboy, and then if we somehow get a Wally in there, then...
Do you know what I really need?
We got a real Titans. What?
Donna and the Doom Patrol.
So it's funny thing is, though, is I am enjoying the characters a lot more as time goes on. Like Starfire, she's not our Starfire, but she's cracking me up. She's enjoyable in and of herself.
She is, but it's always in this kind of cynical way, though, right? That in the back of my head, it's enjoyable in this kind of sick way that it's not right. It's just this perverted version. That's kind of why it's enjoyable. I don't think she's actually a good character per se. Whereas Donna, I feel like, that was a good character. She was likable from the start. She had good chemistry with it. Or like just straight off, that was a good character.
To be fair, Starfire's got good chemistry with Dick. Likable from the start, definitely not, but she's grown on me. And that's fine. Not all characters are, right off the bat.
We had Murder Count.
Yes.
Right. We had that was this episode, wasn't it?
Well, we never saw if she actually burned those guys in the train.
No. I am disputing this. There were people in the train carriage, and she exploded it.
No, they were backing out. You seen them leaving.
No, you didn't.
They
were in the carriage. No,
they were backing out.
She murdered them. I will not stand for this defense. She actively blew up a train to try and kill like 2 people.
It was a warning shot. They backed out of the train carriage.
This is such defensive bullshit.
I'll give you, the original nuclear family husband. I'll give you those Austrian mobsters.
Beast Boy's savage mauling.
Of course, but he brings up and he's not happy about it.
I'm taking this one. I don't care. She blows up a train full of people.
It's not full of people.
It's full of some people.
There's like 2 people.
All right, a train with people on it.
I'm just saying, even if I agree she killed those 2, that's not a full of people.
No, all right, no, okay, fine. But she actively blew up a train with people on it.
They were backing out. They were in the next car by the time it went.
No, they weren't.
It was filmed in such a way. It could be. It could be.
This is revisionist bullshit, and you know it.
I have to defend it, though, because you're so eager to give it shit, even when it doesn't actually make it clear if it is doing it or not. So,
all right, even if it wasn't murder, it was attempted murder.
Bit of light singeing, that's not murder.
She blew up a train.
And if they were off the train, they'd have got a bit of blowback, and that would be it.
But she thought they were still on the train. That's the point. That's why it's attempted. At the very minimum.
People in the comments do let us know what you think of this, of the train situation. If you didn't skip
Trained
ahead to
above.
Supergirl, which is fine because I told you to do that if you didn't want spoilers.
Yeah. This is my fault for not remembering. I was drunk.
All right, that's Titans. Yeah, I enjoyed the episode well enough, to be honest. Like, young Dick flashbacks are garbage, and they've always been garbage, and there's nothing to really rescue them.
They're pretty much irredeemable.
Yeah, they're awful. But most of the rest of it I liked. At least enough. The Rachel and her mum conversation was a bit melodramatic, but we didn't even mention the scene at the start that I liked, where Raven's like hugging her mother, and her mother's like, "Oh, Beast Boy, you can come and sit next to us," and he gets really awkward, and like, so I'll just stand, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He looks so awkward, just stood there next to them, looking out the window.
He also says, like, Dick and Corey being together is it like thinking about your parents, and I'm like, in what way is it like thinking about your parents? You've known them for like a week, and they're only like 10 years older than you. There's no reason for you to feel like it's like a weird incest thing.
Yeah.
Like, I get you don't want to think it. That's fine. Don't think about it. But like, it's not thinking about your parents is like traumatizing. These are two strangers who are having sex. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
That will take us on to Supergirl season 4, episode 8. It's called Bunker Hill. So yeah, spoilers for each episode as we talk about them. Of course, I didn't say that in the first one, which is where I should say it, but here we are. So yeah, Supergirl. Not bad, actually, because we had a couple of, we had a pretty bad episode and a slightly better one. It's nice.
It's been a rough few.
This one is probably maybe not quite as impressive as the third one, but it's probably close to it in the sense of, in terms of just being a solid episode that it moves all the plot forward, it's pretty good.
I would say it is undoubtedly the second best episode of the season.
That's fine. Because the first couple are fine, then the third was good.
Fine. Yeah.
And then there's a few rough episodes, and then this one I think is mostly pretty good. So points. And the one thing you really dislike, I actually quite like. So
I think it's not quite as bad as Flash Jump, but it's heading in the direction.
Flash Jump?
I don't want to say it just in case of people that haven't.
Oh, it's coming up in
Flash.
this week's Flash. Okay.
No. Just in case people are a few weeks behind on Flash.
Okay, all right.
But a certain jump.
Oh yes, diving. Oh yes. I know what we're talking about.
It's getting into that territory for me.
Oh, I don't know. I like this one.
Most of the episode, just that moment.
That moment, I mean, like the dodgy CG aside, on the nth metal, I kind of like that moment.
No.
I'm sorry, but Supergirl's trapped in the nth metal in the factory, and what's his face, Lockwood's like, "Stop struggling, Supergirl," and she's like, "I'm not struggling, I'm flying." That was a badass line.
It was a good line, and then just no, I hate that whole bit.
What visual did you not like? Was it the exterior of the building lifting up, or was it the image of her like sort of trying to fly inside the?
All of it.
Because the building lifting up was the worst part of it. It looked a bit ropey. Her actually trying to fly out of it though looked quite good, I thought. Outside of the nth metal itself looking a bit CG.
I don't even like it in concept though. I think it's stupid.
Oh no, I like it in concept. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like intelligent comic book writing or anything, but it's.
What I want to know is, sure, okay, the nth metal is strong enough that it sticks her to the ground, right?
Yeah.
And she's flying, but the whole building what? It doesn't just rip up that tiny bit of concrete beneath her that the nth metal stuck to.
Okay, I admit maybe that'd have been better, but it was the actual, like the
this
struggle.
Is why it's absolutely stupid.
And the force and the I'm okay with the whole building going up.
No, stupid.
It's fun and comic booky. I don't know. I like that. This is way better than certain roof dives that made me laugh for all the wrong reasons.
It's better, but like I said, it's heading in the direction.
I know. I'm into it. I was into this moment. Call it what you want, but I'm into it. So here's the thing. Brainy and Supergirl, I now am in love with even more than I ever have been before, because they were both film nerds in this episode. Brainy references Spartacus and then tries to explain it, and then Supergirl with the biggest grin on her face, like, "Oh, you're watching the classics, eh?" She's like, "Would you like to discuss auteur theory and the films of Ed Wood?" And she's like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I would." And I'm like, "What? Can I just have
I'm struggling to remember what was the film later on where it was like, "I'm doing some of the modern ones too."
No, because he says I'm watching the classics, right? Or she said that at the start, right?
Yeah.
It's when they're walking around and they realize they're surrounded by Liberty people, right? And Nia says, "Oh, it's feeling a bit purgy," and he goes, "Oh yes, Joe Demonic or whatever his name is. I can't remember the director's name.
Yeah.
2013." And she's like, "I thought you were only watching the classics." And he's like, "And." The idea to him, this is a classic because he's from the 31st century.
Yeah, that was it.
And I'm like, the Brainy, it's not. give it up.
That is not lasting to the 31st century.
And then a subtle touch that I really liked. No, I buy the concept of the Purge well because it's a joke that everyone makes fun of.
But I don't think that movie will be a classic.
Oh, sure, yeah. But a subtle touch I liked is that Nia, when you see her waking up in her place, she wakes up to North by Northwest. So if we're setting up chemistry between her and Brainy, then that's a neat little way of doing it. She's watching a classic movie. It's simple, but it works. Yeah. And then he finally kind of lets up that he knows who she is from the future. That she's kind of important because Supergirl mentions that she because we see Nia have this nightmare about Liberty, and then she freaks out at work a little bit. And Supergirl brings this up, and she saw the Agent of Liberty, and he's like, "Wait, she saw something, and you let her go? You let it pass?" And she's, "It's a nightmare. What do you want?" And then he's like, "Well, I can't tell you because
timeline."
Future." And they get really frustrated with him, and he finally lets it out. My favorite part of all this though is Supergirl says, "Oh, we have to go talk to her then, or whatever," and Brainy goes, "Yes, we must find Nia in the hall," and he just kind of like he does this like fist. He's like, "Yes." But it's not like a bro fist. It's more like his sciencey, yes, engage fist. We'll engage.
No, do you know what it is?
Yes.
It's the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It's the Power Rangers fist when they go into costume.
Yes. That's what it is. But he's also got a crush on her, so it's double. It's like it works. So they go and see her, and she admits she's an alien, and then he like accidentally calls her. Was it Nura? He's like, "Did you call her Nura?" He's like, "No. Did you call her? Did you call her that? No." Honestly, like this is what made the episode so fun is the chemistry between these three, and their triple buddy cop kind of thing going. Was really delightful. Even down to the fact that when they're in that town, and Supergirl thinks she's clocked some Liberty folk because she's like, "Oh, I can see the mask," because Brainy's like, "Oh no, they're just being racist or whatever. They don't care." It's like, no, I can see the mask in her purse. Like I can see the mask. X-ray vision.
Yeah, she's
Brainy.
like, "That dog is tracking us."
Yeah, like, don't be ridiculous. Dogs are just dangerous things. He's like, no, I can see the mask in her bag. I can see the mask from my X-ray vision, Brainy. And he doesn't quite get it. And she actually, what really loved about this scene was the faces that Benoist was pulling. She was trying to make him understand, like, no, yeah. I can go and get kidnapped because I'm Supergirl. I'll be fine, right? And then the best part about it is that when she is intentionally getting herself kidnapped, Nia walks back around the corner because he's supposed to distract her, but he's shit at it.
Pointing out stuff in the shop window.
He's like, "Oh, shall we go in here and look at these miniature trains or whatever they were?" And Nia sees this and tries to intervene, not knowing she's Supergirl, and so all three of them get kidnapped, which just leads to more hijinks, which is great. Because it's funny, because one of my complaints the last episode was that Supergirl's been being put in not harm's way, that's maybe not the right phrase, but she's been made the damsel too much. But this was like intentional, just wink,
it was
wink.
Proactive.
Yeah, this was her making a choice to do something. And we get a glimpse of what Dreamer can actually do because she stops the bullet with her handcuffs, and then it's like, "What the hell? How did we just do that?" And it's a joke. Also, she's never heard of Lois Lane, so she's certainly new. She's not been around for a while.
Yeah, and she works at a news organization.
Yeah, because Kara references Lois, and she's like, "Who's that?" And Kara's like, "What you say, bitch?"
All it did was reminded me that, oh shit, yeah, we're getting Lois next week.
Which is also the neat thing. It's like we're doing that next, so it's like, here, Lois is coming. Like, get ready.
Like, get ready, guys. Let's go.
So all that was fun. Brainy having to watch his mouth. I actually, one of my favorite things about Brainy is when he's being kind of not arrogant. He's not an arrogant character, but he's very pretentious, even when he's wrong. And that's what I love about it, because in this, when they're talking about her dream, and she starts saying, "Oh, there was a hook, and maybe it was like a factory or a warehouse." It's like, no, they're symbolic. They just simply mean they represent something that'll happen in the future. And then I was just laughing because I'm no, it's a factory, because it's going to be Lockwood's factory, right? It ended up in the Nth Metal one, but same difference. Like, it's a factory. It's literally a factory.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I enjoyed all this stuff. There was very little of any of this that I wasn't having fun with.
No, I was on board with it too. Like I said, right up until it got too stupid, and it lost me.
I was fine with that. But the pacing was good. They had great chemistry. It was little to complain about. And then meanwhile, you had Manchester Black at the Lockwood house.
Two extremely charismatic fellas.
Yes, being very charismatic. My only real complaint about this plot is that I felt that the turn where he revealed that, because they're kind of pretending in front of the wife that he's an old friend, but he kind of like turned into, no, I'm just going to take you as hostages, and I'm like here to cause you harm. It felt like that just happened very quickly, and not in a way that was like shocking to her. It was just kind of.
Yeah, I think my bigger problem is the wife's decision later to be just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, at the very end, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, like I didn't buy it.
I think that's a separate issue, though. That's a separate.
No, it is, but I'm just it feels related in the sense of things just happening too quickly to do with these characters.
Sure, because Lockwood's trying to stay away from Liberty right now because of the kerfuffle from the previous week.
Yes.
But then Manchester Black's, no, I want to kill you in your outfit, so he makes him take his outfit out and put it on, and he's like, yeah, by the way, your husband killed my fiancée, by the way. He's killed other people. He's a.
It is a great moment where he mentions, his wife, Fiona.
Yeah.
And then Lockwood's like, oh, shit.
Yes. Because then the obvious thing he's going to want to do now is maybe kill your wife, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a rocket science level.
But just that moment where he realizes who this is.
Yeah.
And he's like, God damn it, I'm screwed.
And of course, eventually they get to the factory, do Supergirl and all that, because that's where they're taken by the Children of Liberty. And then they realize it's Lockwood, and that's when Supergirl goes to Lockwood's house, and then that leads back to the factory and the whole kerfuffle. It's Manchester Black's got Lockwood's wife at gunpoint. Lockwood's there with a gun. This is all happening, and then the chaos ensues. So, in the end, Brainy obviously used the hook to hit what's his face. So yeah, all fine, all fun. This was a pretty solid episode. There was very little that made me go, oh, are we doing this? Oh, are we doing that? Like, everything kind of worked.
No Lena bollocks, no James bollocks.
Yeah, no Lena at all. In fact, the one real scene with James at the start was actually kind of funny, because he comes, Kara comes in the elevator and she's like, how are things? And he spends like 10 seconds talking about his relationship with Lena, and she's like, I meant the paper and like, the journalism stuff. Don't really care about Lena. Like, that was how it played, and it made me laugh. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very, very lot to play about. Obviously, I'm leaving out the way it ends and the president stuff, because that's the final point to really get into.
Like I said, I think my real complaints up till this point are the pacing of things like Lockwood's wife just suddenly being on board when it felt like 5 minutes before she was a horrified hostage.
Yeah, she was a horrified hostage who Supergirl saves when she falls off the ramp, and she it's kind of like a thing where he's been arrested, he's been taken out of the prison, but there's like protesters saying free Lockwood, he's a human rights activist, he's a freedom fighter kind of thing, and she starts to chant for liberty, and
I don't get it. This just felt out of nowhere to me.
I wouldn't say it feels out of nowhere. It's mostly just a knock-on effect of her being relatively underdeveloped on her own.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where she's just kind of there to be a part of his plot rather than she's a character in her own right.
It feels out of nowhere in the sense that everything in this episode told me she was against what he was doing. Yeah,
she was horrified by everything.
Like, that was the entire episode. That was all she did, and then at the end, it's like, no, she's on board. She's all for it. That's pretty out of nowhere.
It's one of those things where it felt natural enough to what they were going to do with the plot, if that makes sense. The shock from Supergirl that she's just behind it now. She's behind what he's doing.
I get that, but I don't know. It didn't feel natural to me.
I know. It never stuck. Honestly, it felt like such a minor moment to me. I never even really thought about it. It was just kind of like, okay, so she's on her husband's side now. Like the idea that she should be horrified, and she was at the initial shock, but now she's siding with her husband because she's with everyone else.
Sure, here. I guess. It bothered me. It's one of my least favorite points of the episode.
What I like about it though is, you know, when Supergirl is left floating up there watching him go in, and everyone's chanting for him, it's this idea that somehow catching him has maybe made the problem worse. That now
she's martyred him.
Yeah, essentially, and people are rooting for him, even though what he's done, even though that they're going to prove that he's murdered certain people. That'll just drive his fan base up. In a fan base is a weird word to use. A support group.
Yeah, I would call them a cult.
Yeah, cult. Yeah, I mean, at what point does it stop being a cult when it's like, you know, enough of a percentage of the population are just clearly on his side? When it's more of an awful political party than it is a cult.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an appropriate way to phrase this.
And if your response is, well, they're still a cult, you know, if your argument is even political parties that are like that now are still a cult, then fair enough, I'll take that response. But
yeah,
I just didn't think of them that way, but that's fair enough.
Yeah. I was trying to be more polite than that, but
yeah, we haven't named anything. It's fine.
No. There's no clear parallels whatsoever. None.
So I like that, but it leads to this interesting thing where we find out, because the last time we met this new president, he seemed all right, but he's a bit of a dickbag in this episode where he cares more about his numbers and his polls than he does about actually doing the right thing.
This is classic vice president have been promoted, where they're like, shit, I wasn't the one elected. I need to prove myself so that the next election I can get the validity that I need.
And, you know, he complains to Alex early on that he wants good numbers. And Alex says, catching this asshole, that'll be good numbers for you. And then it turns into, no, this president and his government have locked up this freedom fighter. this human rights activist, I think is what it says in the newspaper. And he's like, yeah, well, because as he's been arrested, he's like, yeah, you know who I am. We don't know who Supergirl is. You know, that's what he's yelling as he's been put in the car. And this all sort of rolls into the ending where he's like, Supergirl, you're going to have to tell us who you are, because we can't trust you if you don't.
This was a moment that I knew was coming. I didn't think it would be in this episode. From earlier this episode, I think was set up. It was she has a go at Lockwood for wearing the mask, and he pulls it off. He's like, no, I don't need a mask. I don't care. You're the one that hides who you are.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can see there's an identity plot coming.
Which I like. I actually like that. I think that's a good plot to do.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. And I think it's actually handled quite well in the moment, surprisingly. I say surprisingly, not because I'm surprised at Benoist's acting, because Benoist is, as we always say, the best part of the show. I'm surprised, though, because whenever they try to use DEO agents to like enhance the scene, it usually falls flat in their face. But the moment when she's been asked this by the president, and she starts looking around the room, and it cuts to various DEO agents, and there's like one guy kind of shaking his head at her just a little bit. I thought, you know what, that was subtle enough. I liked that moment. I like this moment that there's someone just kind of rooting for her here. I don't know who this guy is. He's just an extra. He's, never. I mean, he may have been in the background before, but he's never been notable. Yeah. And I thought, no, this is actually an effective little moment. I actually thought, you know what, this was a good scene. This reminded me of a season 1 scene of Supergirl, where I'm like, I'm invested in the moment. I'm invested in what she's been asked about.
I do not disagree. And also, from a plot perspective, I'm okay if we move away from the DEO.
Do you know what? We always thought it was kind of weird at the start where she was tied to this government organization anyway. I'm okay with this too.
It was kind of weird in season 1 when we were back on CBS.
Yeah.
When we moved to the CW and it went all in, I was like, of course, that's CW formula, right? That's what all the shows do. It's like, here's the support team. We've got to do it. So I was just kind of, okay, fine, whatever. I don't really like it, but it's just what it is.
Yeah, I like her being on her own. And
rogue agent, that's what we need.
And obviously this adds more to when, like, you know, Comrade Zor-El shows up, and, you know, she's like she's a free agent, but the Comrade one isn't, at least. But publicly, will they know that? Will they know that Comrade Zor-El is not working for someone?
Can we go with Comrade Kara? I like the alliteration more.
Sure.
It feels more comic booky.
I think I like Comrade Zor-El because it sounds like Commander Zod or General Zod.
I get that, but Comrade Kara just has a nicer ring.
Comrade Kara sounds like the comedy version.
Does. Maybe what we need to do is use each one interchangeably depending on the context of the scene that we're discussing.
Sure. But I actually like this scene a lot. I actually think this was my favourite scene of the episode, was her refusing and saying, "No, I can't give you what you want, President." And she's like, and he's like, "Well, you're dismissed." And I'm like, "Wait, do you expect her not to intervene when something bad happens? Because she ain't going to do that, and that'll create its own,
I think it'll be more
drama.
A case of because he's like, no, we don't want a war with Supergirl. Like
Yeah.
that's political suicide, and just unwinnable. But also, I think it's more just okay. You're not welcome in the DEO. You're not welcome to our resources. We will not send you backup, but we're not going to stop you doing your thing.
I think it will become that when she does something that in some way crossroads with what they're doing.
That's fair. I don't think that's what he wants right now, though. I think now he's like, you go and just stop crimes as you hear them. Fine, we won't stop you doing that, but we're not going to help you. No DEO backup, no using any of our satellites.
I think the second that she intervenes in something that the DEO is working on, there's going to be conflict about that, and there's going to be you're actually getting in the way of an investigation, and I can see drama coming from that. I wouldn't mind if they all go rogue. Like, see if the DEO gets dismantled, like maybe by the end of the season, because of whatever happens, and Supergirl and her team just have to be off book, as it were. I could be into that.
Go join Jean's detective agency.
Yes. Exactly.
I
don't know how Alex is going to get paid, though, because at least with Kara, we know she gets a journalism wage, so that's fine.
Well, they're going to get paid by cases on the side. Donations.
Oh, they're actually a PI, so they're actually doing it for money. They're taking cases for money.
Yeah. Go on. I've dropped us in the shithole now. You might as well.
You mean like Angel Investigations?
Yes, I do mean like Angel Investigations.
Where we help the helpless.
Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, look, I admit, I handed you that one on the silver platter.
Yeah. Which was a spin-off, of course, to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I'm realising, we recorded the TV news right before this, I'm realising I said Angel Sting wrong in that. Because it starts off as we help the hopeless, and I said it became hope for the hopeless. It's not, it becomes help the helpless. The point we made still stands, though. Connor lost his sound for a second, so he didn't understand or hear a word that I just said. So that's okay.
I lost all my sound then for like a minute, so I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, I rambled. I was correcting something I said in the TV news because I got it wrong.
What did you get wrong?
I said it becomes we hope the hopeless. It doesn't. It becomes we help the helpless. The point we were making stood strongly.
Yeah.
But it was we help the helpless is what it became, not hope the hopeless or hope for the hopeless.
Either way makes more sense than what it was originally.
Yeah. Yes. But anyway, so yeah, we're So I can see them going rogue. I could see that being a thing, or somehow they recapture the DEO and it's given to them by whoever the new president ends up being. If that's where we go, I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I like where this let everything off for the season. It's almost like we had an episode or two too many, because if you just consider this the end of the first chunk of the story, it's actually pretty strong.
It is.
And the first three were pretty strong. It just had some whiffle waffle in the middle.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were decent. 3 was fantastic. 4 through 7 were kind of okay to shite.
Yeah, okay to bad, depending on which one.
Yeah. You could have cut those 4 down to 2 quite comfortably.
Yeah. If they'd reworked them so it was just 2 solid episodes instead of... Yeah, you could have done that.
I mean, cut rid of all that Lena stuff for a start. That's half an episode saved.
No, but that's important because she's making like Doomsday.
She so is making Doomsday.
We're getting to Doomsday or some sort of new version of Parasite or something. I don't know. We've already had Parasite, so it can't be Parasite, but
Yeah, we're not done Doomsday yet.
We had a Metallo. Does a Metallo exist in this universe?
Yeah, I think we did that in season 1.
Did we? Okay, I'll take your word for it. I can't remember.
We did.
But yeah, so So yeah, no, I thought it was a solid mid-season finale. I actually, having felt a little down on it in the last few weeks, I'm glad that this one kind of perked back up to.
It's nice to go into the break on an upswing.
Yeah, feeling good about it. At least just to remind us that no, it can still pull out good episodes. With relative frequency.
It was a reasonable slump there, though. That was 4 episodes that we were not so hot on.
That's true, but I mean, if you look at the other way, we had 4 out of 4. So I mean,
yeah, it's 50-50 right now.
If it's 50-50, then I can live with that.
Yeah, of course. But it was, if this had been not as good, that would have been like, okay, 5 in a row. We're going into the break, not feeling so good. Coming back after Christmas would have felt like a bit of a chore. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, go on. You've reinvigorated my faith that you can do good things. And it's not guaranteed that it will be good, but there's, you've got a chance.
No, it was a solid mid-season finale. I like everything it's set up. I like where Manchester Black's been arrested, so I think when he eventually gets out, he'll build his elite, which we're hinting at in the news.
I'm really looking forward to that stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Comrade Zor-El. I'm looking forward to how they deal with this secret identity stuff.
I am maybe a little concerned that they're spinning too many plates with all that, plus the Lena Doomsday stuff.
Yeah, the Lena stuff's the one that you could get rid of. I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that going, all right, that's 4 big plots, and yeah, sure, they've got 16 episodes, maybe 17. I don't know exactly how many episodes the season is, to be honest.
Brainy and Nia have good chemistry, so I mean, I'm coming out of this one feeling quite good. So we will move on then to Arrow, which is season 7, episode 8. It's called Unmasked. We have Oliver out of prison, of course, from last time, and I will be oddly, I don't want to say positive about this one.
You just won't shit all over it as much as usual.
I think this is a 50-50 episode. I actually liked about half of it. And then I everything with Felicity was garbage. I hated it.
Oh, it's so bad.
Every conversation with them where she's talking about, I'm not the Felicity you fell in love with, she's not coming back. And her pulling out the gun when the archer assassin jumped in their house, I actually laughed when Oliver made that face. Like, what? You've got a gun? That really made me laugh, and not necessarily in a good way. But at the same time, this did have an intentional laugh earlier on in the episode that I really liked. So,
which one?
It was when he's with Renee and they're looking into the new Green Arrow, right? Who's this new Green Arrow? And Oliver's looking through the case files, and he's like, "Oh, it says here the SAPD almost caught him, last month, but he had an accomplice." And then Renee's like, yeah, that was me." And Oliver, as he turned around and looked at him, it just was gold. It was funny.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell?
It was a good line.
Right, okay. Most important thing out of the way.
That was good.
Still no Hoss.
Still no Hoss. They're saving it for some. And I thought, maybe they'll save it till he's in the suit. But then he was in the suit by the end of the episode. And I was like, okay, all right. So, do you know what they're doing? They're saving it for a very big moment where they're all going to agree to some plan, right? Where
they're back as a team.
Yeah, it's like a suicide mission, and Oliver convinces them they have to do this thing, and it's going to be maybe like the second last episode going out to the finale, and he's going to let's do this, Hoss.
They can't make me wait that long for a Hoss.
It may be that long. If they're not doing it this one, it may be that long. They're saving the Hoss.
I'm disappointed.
It'll be so monumental when it comes because we've waited. So here's the things I like. I like that. I like some of the action in the episode. There's a pretty decent hallway fight with Oliver towards the end.
It's all right.
I liked the idea that he will be working with the police department in his suit but unmasked, and everyone knows who he is.
Just casually walking around the station.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal when he walks in at the end in his outfit and he's not even wearing a mask.
It's really surreal.
He's very public now. Everyone was filming him on their phones and all impressed that he shoots the gun out of the guy's hand when he's got the hostage. Yeah. So I like that stuff. I actually kind of like generally what it's doing with that, and the action's still pretty good. Like I say, the hallway fight as he's going towards the bad guy at the end is actually quite good.
Yeah, it's not the best that the show's had, but it's
not as good as the one from last week, but it was pretty solid.
It was, yeah. Little to complain about on that front, to be fair to it.
What?
The action, in general at the moment.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean just this sequence. I think in general the action's been pretty solid at the minute.
Yeah. So things I didn't like though. Obviously Felicity.
Obviously.
Right. Everything with her was terrible. The villain is so obviously the villain the second you see him, and he's just so cliched and kind of boring. He's like, you know, I mean, it's fine because he's just there for the plot's sake, but like, you know, it was nothing. It was stale white bread.
He was not TV's best Chad.
Yeah, for some reason, halfway through the episode, you said, "I wish this was Chad Radwell," and I don't know why you said that.
Was he not called Chad?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'll double check his name right now.
I'm fairly sure the character was introduced as Chad.
His name is Max Fuller.
How drunk was I?
Apparently very drunk. Jesus Christ.
Do you know what's worse as well, though? I've had the subtitles on when watching.
Yeah, you read the name.
I listened to it, I read it, and then somewhere along the way decided he was a Chad. I don't know.
I mean, because I liked Oliver working with Renee and Dinah and just being like detectives.
Yeah,
that was fine. That worked. It's like, yeah, Diggle's still kind of dead weight, and then his stuff with Lila. Apparently, the painting they stole a few episodes ago and like scanned leads to the Longbow Hunters. So it ends that subplot ends here with him going to Diaz in prison for help. So we're bringing Diaz back into the plot already.
This show needs a serious restructuring. Now, I think it's fair to say Supergirl is going through that right now.
Yeah, they're just shaking things up. Yeah.
Shaking things up, like, okay, what are we doing?
And to be fair to Arrow, they have shaken up the main premise, and everyone knows who he is now. That does feel fresh. It feels new.
No, it does. They need to go further. They need to look at the elements that are not working. They need to go, right. Diggle, Curtis as well, frankly. I like Curtis well enough.
He wasn't in this episode, it's worth mentioning. He was gone.
Because he is starting to become the Jimmy. They've got nothing to do.
Yeah, it's funny because that was Laurel. Laurel had nothing to do for a long time. And now Laurel, they're using her smarter in the sense that she doesn't need... Because she's only in one scene in this episode, and that's fine. She's just there for the one little joke, and we don't need to see her. She's back when she's relevant.
Yeah.
You know, she's more of a... Not on the team, but regular supporting.
I don't think Curtis has had a relevant moment all season.
Nah, that's fair. I can't argue with that. Because the Laurel moment in this one actually made me laugh, where they're at this like gala. This is when the murder attempt happens, and Laurel shows up, and I think it's Lila who's because Laurel comes up and says hi, and Lila says, "Oh, are we friends with her now?" And everybody's just kind of awkward. And
then like, kind of.
And Felicity's like, "Yeah, no, she helped. She got Oliver out of prison," and it's a moment. And it's like, okay, all right. So it was kind of funny for what it was. And obviously the main plot is that it seems like the new Green Arrow's murdered this dude at this party, but it turns out to just be this Archer assassin.
It's just a copycat who can do any MO that you want him to do.
Yes.
Thrilling.
A chameleon.
Yes.
Or he's kind of like the assassin version of Hard Target.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's honestly quite quickly when we realise that it's not the real like new Green Arrow, that it's someone else. You know, it's relatively quite quick in the episode where that comes up. But of course, we do have to talk about the bookend scenes because we see who the real Green Arrow or the real new Green Arrow 2.0. As they even have a joke in this episode where they need a name for them so they can refer to them as such.
Yes.
But we see it's a woman and she's Asian. And I mean, we kind of knew who this was because we'd heard that a certain character has been added to the show. But we see her training. There's like a whole montage, and she's got the suit on. And then at the very end of the episode, we get the twist that this is Oliver's half sister. At least this is Emiko Queen.
Yes,
because
she's complete with atrocious CG.
Because she's talking to
Robert's gravestone.
His father's gravestone. Oh yeah, the mansion, the burned down mansion.
There we go.
I was like, what CG are you talking about? There was like nothing in it.
That shot where it pulls back after the headstone and you see that, and it's horrific. It is down there with some of Arrow's worst CG moments, including the stupid grapple arrow things that we've done in the past. It's bad.
I was trying to wrestle the cat away from the desk without hitting my mic, so I didn't lose the cable.
Yeah, you've got a dodgy cable right now, and the slightest touch, and so that's it.
Yeah. It's like after he reveals the gravestone, she stands up, and the mansion that's all burned down is behind her. But of course, the real mansion's not burned down. The real mansion's still there because it's an expensive mansion. So it's just this very bad green screen effect, which kind of sucks.
I feel like it would have been better and maybe cheaper just to do a little miniature shot.
What's weird though is we can't have Shadow be her mother because Shadow was Oliver's love interest. And she was also far too young.
A good point. I'd forgotten about that.
Because that Shadow would have to have been like 12 when she gave birth.
Shadow. Oh my god, we might hear it again.
Oh, we could. So I don't really have like a good or a bad opinion on Emmy, right? Because so far all we have is a training montage. I mean, I'm excited at the prospect of a fresh character who's actually useful. But at the same time, there's nothing.
Terrified of them butchering Emmy.
Yeah, there's nothing here so far. Because Emmy, of course, as we know, is a younger character. She's a Teen Titan level character.
And she's amazing.
And she's a pretty good. She's basically Damien, but Green Arrow.
Because Green Arrow hasn't stolen enough from Batman.
Yeah, exactly. This is their Damien. Instead of his son, it'll be the sister.
Yeah.
Which whatever. Which is fine. Like it's not a bad change in the.
It's not.
In the scheme of things. Well, actually, she's always his sister. What I was saying, I didn't mean that to say that she's not.
I think what's interesting is Emmy in the current continuity is kind of a replacement for Mia, in terms of role and personality, and Mia in the comics became Thea on this show.
Yeah, I was going to correct you and say, do you mean Thea?
No.
Because you're talking about the comics, because I thought you were talking about the show specifically. I was like, no, you mean Thea. Who's Mia? That's Thea, Connor. Thea.
Yeah, no. Mia was the sidekick before New 52 shenanigans.
Yes.
And she's just been missing for a while, I think.
So's Thea.
So's Thea.
True to form.
Yeah, exactly. It was an accurate representation. What do you want me to say? I think it's interesting that we lost Thea, so here's another one.
Yeah, but at least this one's been introduced already as an archer and a fighter, whereas like Thea's like progression to Red Arrow or Speedy was always a bit hard. Same with Laurel. Laurel's transition from not knowing any self-defense to all of a sudden being this crime fighter.
Laurel's was worse because at least Thea, they pretended she did a summer with John Barrowman.
Sure, yeah. Laurel's was the worst of the two, but they were both pretty hard to swallow.
They were.
Curtis was also pretty hard to swallow, to be honest. That he was actually holding his own in fights.
Yeah, Laurel had that whole thing where she went with
the boxer dude. What do you call him? Wildcat, I think it was.
Wildcat, yeah.
But that was after the atrocious pill popping addiction storyline that was. And that was season 2. People talk about season 2 like it was this golden age of Arrow, and I don't know. That subplot in season 2 was dire.
It's not. It is an imperfect beast, but it is the best one that we have.
I don't know if we get more episodes like last week's. Season 2 is going down.
I'll give you that. What we want is season 2 stuff mixed in with last week's quality, and then throw in Prometheus.
I never agreed to Prometheus.
Replace Slade with Prometheus.
Which, by the way, Stanley's still out there somewhere. Stanley is afoot.
Yeah, he is. Do you want to know something just mildly exciting about the crossover in terms of relevant to Arrow? The director of the Arrow episode is Bamford, who did last week's episode, and he's the guy who is basically the action coordinator for the shows as well. So next week's it might actually have some directional flair.
Well, Batwoman might be there, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they told us that the episodes this year are going to be a little bit more standalone than they were last year. Yeah.
To a point, they're very serialized in how they go through, but yeah, I think the order's kind of weird as well because it's Flash first, then Arrow, then Supergirl.
Is it?
Yeah, Flash is first. Okay. And the only thing I know is that it's the Arrow episode where they go to Gotham for the first time, I think. Not necessarily the first time we see Gotham, but it's the episode where they go, like, them to find characters.
So the first episode will be the Freaky Friday.
Yeah, that'll be them realizing and waking up and being like, ah!
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But hey, yeah. Oh, we didn't finish Arrow though. We got the flash forwards to talk about still.
Yeah, I
And
forgot.
yeah, they kind of suck. They kind of suck in the same way that a lot of Arrow's flashbacks have sucked, and that they're so short that they have to tell a story in such a quick amount of time that they make it so simple that there's nothing engaging about it. Because all this is they go to like a fight club, talk to was it Black Star?
Dark Star?
I think it was Black Star.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
And they question her because she was in cahoots with Felicity in her plan, and there's a heart-to-heart between Dinah and William, and they're like, oh, we have to go into the Glades and find Renee so that we can go in and deal with this shit. And that's pretty much it. But every single time it cuts to one of these scenes, I feel like it's very expositionary, and it's intentionally very kind of cheap, where it's just people talking to each other most of the time.
Do you know what the biggest problem is? Or at least to me, you just said it cuts to one of these scenes, but they're not scenes. It's one scene cut up into 3 or 4 pieces. They don't feel like complete scenes.
Yeah, it's hit and miss. Like sometimes you get 2 that feel like one scene split in 2, then another scene that's split in 2. Sometimes it depends on the episode, but they don't feel fulfilling on their own to feel like you've actually gotten something out of them. So every time it cuts to one of them, I feel like it's a tedious exercise. And then it makes it very hard to care about what's going on in them plot-wise. And then on top of all that, you have this weird flash-forward element where I'm like, wait, are we really good? Is this really what the future's going to be in this world? Is this?
That's fine, we'll flashpoint it.
Yeah, that's my thing. I feel like it can't be this really, but, you know.
Legends will swoop in and be like, what are you guys doing?
We'll get Old Man Rennie soon, though, apparently. So
he's dropping some horses.
No, he's not. Future Rennie does not drop horses.
He does. He drops the horse.
But yeah, but no, it was as far as Arrow goes, I enjoyed like half of the elements of this episode.
It was better than the first 6 of this season.
I agree, yeah. It was the second best episode of the season. It unfortunately has some elements that are really bad that I hate.
Yeah.
But partly because it's so simplistic writing. Having characters say, no, I'm not the person you met, and that person's never coming back. It's just such a TV line of dialogue that no one would ever actually say. You know, it feels so unnatural.
It does.
That you add that into the fact that the characters generally being kind of unlikable.
Can we just like turn her chip off? Just watch her crumple to the floor.
I mean, sure, and that's the other thing. The fact that they've kind of, because even when they go to this Black Star in the future, it kind of felt like she was kind of her Black Canary, as if she was an oracle. And I was like, and it kind of didn't go in that direction, but it felt like they were taking more from Barbara Gordon to give to Felicity. And as a Barbara Gordon fan who doesn't like Felicity, that really upsets me.
Yeah.
So
still not as bad as that time.
But yeah, where they actually joked about calling her Oracle. Oh
yeah.
God, I hate it
so
much.
That rant you gave on that episode is infamous.
I hate it so much. Anyway, that is Arrow. More positive than expected. The actual Oliver stuff where he's working with Renee and Dinah, kind of liked. Having been in public, kind of liked.
If you cut this show down to those 3, I could enjoy it.
That'll take us on, though, to Legends of Tomorrow, Season 4, Episode 7. It's called Hell No, Dolly. You have to sing it.
Could you?
You have to sing it. Because I read Hell No, Dolly, and I went, what's that? That's just mimicking something. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. I'll sing it. And then it made sense. So it's called Hell No, Dolly. And it is it's kind of a weird episode, partly because it's the first half of a clear 2-parter, which is unique for Legends, outside of maybe like
AKA
finales.
This is why Legends aren't really in the crossover.
Yeah, well, kind of, from what we've heard. But yeah, so got a cliffhanger, and because of that, it's kind of weirdly structured in that there's 3 plots going on. And they're all kind of equal. Not one of them feels like the main plot of the episode. Because the one that should feel like the main plot, which is the gang are tracking down this killer in was it New Orleans in 18 something or other. That felt just as small as everything else. No pun intended. But that was like, because we're not done with it. All these plots are still continuing next episode. We still have like more to do with all of them. So the most important one ended up being Constantine, because Constantine's actually is what causes the problem, the chaos.
And that's the one that actually has the emotion to it.
Yeah. So that's there, and then there's like a Mona subplot, which is the weirdest plot of the episode. Which is saying something when the main plot of the episode is a killer doll that turns into a puppet.
Yeah. When the main plot is Chucky in the 1800s,
which turns into Puppet Stein in 2018.
Yeah. And that's not the weirdest thing in the episode.
Yes. So the actual Chucky thing, like, obviously I enjoyed the references. Ava being on the ship with everyone was fun.
I love how she's so into serial killers.
Yeah, she's really. No, that's not a real serial killer. I'd have heard of them. No.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Ray's mustache, because Nora happened to mention she liked facial hair, so he grew a mustache.
Yeah.
With the help of Gideon, there's an explanation for as to how he got it so quick. It's not just random.
Stimulated the hair follicles.
Yes. And then Mick and Ava are kind of each other's throats a little bit. Ava's not happy that Mick's still playing with the magic book that gives him his three-breasted alien girlfriend,
who he has taught one word.
Yes. So Sarah tries to get him to bond over some breakfast, which is how you do it, to be honest. But they're awful. He's really upset that he's not got his fake girlfriend anymore, and then gets really confrontational and calls Ava a clone.
And Sarah's like, "Come on, Mick," and he's like, "What? So you can have your fake girlfriend, but I can't have mine?"
Yeah, it was also the way Ava said, "Only I get to say the C word." After he says it, I was like, "Oh man, he has crossed the line here."
There was a hit by like, as he's leaving, he goes, "Clone."
Yeah,
she just goes like, "Dick."
that
moment killed me for some reason.
That's on Titans, Ava. Wrong show. She's not a fan of Dick anyway. It's okay.
No, we've established that.
Like, it's an obvious joke. She's gay. She doesn't like Dick. It's an easy joke to make.
We're actually 12.
That's why it's like double an insult coming from her, because she doesn't even like Dick, like at all.
Yeah.
But Sarah says that she sometimes likes Dick, so it's like not,
It can be endearing.
But yeah, so what I liked about it as well is like Zari's working on like the problem for like Constantine at one point on the computer, when the spirit of the doll like leaves it and starts like flying. I was like, oh, this is proper horror movie now. Like the spirit of this thing.
Yeah.
And it gets its way to a crate, and it turns out to be a puppet of Stein.
I liked how they burn the doll, and they're like, oh, it's dead, and they're like, they always come back.
Yeah, Chucky always came back. No, we're taping this down. No, that stuff was fun. And then so
was anything as surreal though as the fight scene between Mick and Puppet Stein?
No, my favorite part though was when Sarah Fly kicks it. She has like a big jump kick. That's when time freezes.
That's where it freezes. Yeah.
And the camera's floating through the air. And it's not really. I've seen floating because they're all floating, but like it's like it's not even float. It's just paused. They've paused everyone in time, and the camera's just going through them. That was really funny because the puppet's like towards the camera, like been kicked. It's really good. Really good. But so Mona's plot though is that she's actually got a bond forming with is it the Neanderthal guy? What was the exact species?
I can't remember. I didn't catch the name because she said it in the previously on.
Yeah, I can't remember what the exact species is, but it's kind of caveman-y dude, and she has a crush on him, and this leads to maybe my favorite scene of the episode, which is where Nate has reluctantly agreed to talk to Mona about the potential that she's into Gary, because Gary's got a crush on Mona, of course. And Gary's spying on this conversation from behind was cracking me up to no end. The way he was like hiding behind the flag, he was just clearly up at a window, not hiding himself at all, which all led to the best moment of the entire episode, which is when Mona says, because Nate thinks she's talking about Gary, because she's saying, oh, there's someone at work that I think I like, but it's inappropriate. And Nate thinks it's about Gary, and then she says, but what about the man meat? And everyone just kind of freezes, like, what? And like, he goes into a close-up of Gary, he's like, my what?
Like,
my
Nate
man meat?
Like, it's 2018, it's fine.
And no, Nate says, because he's like, what about the man meat? And she's like, I think he's had some.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's 2018, it's fine, whatever.
He's like, yeah, he probably has. I mean, he definitely had some from Constantine.
Well, we don't know how far they went. There was definitely something sexual. We don't know how far it actually went, though.
It's true, because he was still a virgin.
Yes. But I suppose depending on where you take the man meat, that would dictate the line, if you will. But anyway, what were we going to say? You found the species?
A Kaupe?
A Calpe?
Kaupe.
Calpe. Okay. All right. But yeah, this was kind of a weird plot because she's actually having this weird kind of romance with this beast.
Yes.
But then it's getting tortured by some of these corrupt agents who have been taking them out somewhere.
Definitely taking them for a fight club.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But he's got like injuries and he tries to defend her. But he ends up like, I don't know if he quite outright kills the two guys, but he attacks them viciously. And then swipes at her, and she gets like a claw mark across her stomach, which is just before the time
and then
freezes,
he looks guilty,
and he runs off. So yeah, I have no idea where this is going.
It's so surreal. I kind of love this show.
Just the idea that one of the three plots is Mona's plot, that she is the main character of the subplot.
Yeah, and she was only really introduced like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, it's kind of
a brief introduction before that as a joke for the Men in Black flasher.
Yeah, but that's all she really was. But they've kind of built her up now that she's got her own plot. But hey, so poor Gary's not going to take this well when he finds out she's got the hots for.
Oh, he's going to be heartbroken.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's what's real. Gary's the one behind the fight club. He's hoping that the Calpe loses so that, problem solved.
What about the man meat? And then just Nate's like, what? The man meat? Oh, it's delightful. So Constantine's plot, which is with Charlie and Zari for the most part, where he wants to go back in time. He wants Charlie to help him, and then he'll reverse the shape. Because we find out that she can kind of force it a little bit. She actually in one scene completely shapeshifts as Constantine for like a minute, and then like it's sort of like. Well, or half her side does at least. In profile, she's shapeshifted, but then it kind of like shifts back.
That first bit where she just bulges her eye out. She's like, look at this. And he's like, what? You're not doing it? It's like, that's shapeshifting. I'm like, I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah, I guess what they're going to eventually do is that she can do it for like short periods of time so it can be useful, but not so much that there's a reason to not have her be Amaya's face like most of the time.
Yeah, she'll have just felt comfortable in this now. I love the reason for her staying as a like wanting to change. Was that she was like, no, you don't understand, I'm dying.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Like,
see when she says she's dying, you just take it as, wait, this is killing you, staying in one form. As if it's like imminent, right? Because that's the way it sounds.
That's the implication.
Until Zari questions it, and all it really means is that because she keeps changing, she ages naturally because she's not changing. It's like, wait, so you're just dying like any regular human being slowly? Oh, boo-hoo!
Yeah, it's just like, wait, you're aging? Screw you.
Yeah, it's like, screw you. We all have to go through this. No sympathy.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get to be immortal. Oh, someone get the small violin.
Exactly.
No, I like that as well. I like Zari's reaction to it.
Yeah. It was a really good one because when she said, "Oh, I'm dying," you genuinely think, "Oh, this is actually killing her." Like her species, can't survive without shapeshifting. It's which I feel like I've probably encountered that story somewhere before.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't have surprised me.
But it's actually just it's normal mortality. She's just going to have to live out her life from like the age of 28 to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
Exactly.
So he wants to go back in time and stop him and Des from meeting so that he'll never get involved and then never have to be sent to hell. So he sends Charlie in to pretend to be Amaya, who does a really bad fake American accent, which was amusing, and talks Constantine out of the restaurant or the bar so that Des doesn't meet him. But then he meets him the next day anyway, and the timeline doesn't get changed.
And they're like, God damn it.
And this is when Zari comes into it and says, no, some points are fixed. I'll try and help you find a loophole, but you can't just do this.
And it turns out, no, he's got to do it properly.
Yeah, so, but he says, you know what, screw this, and he ends up going back himself and actually speaks to Des to try and break up with him after they meet. Because he thinks that, if meeting if us meeting is a fixed point in time, then we can break up after that before it gets bad.
There's a logic.
But it doesn't work, obviously. He tries to do that, and then that's what causes this time.
So, I mean, it does work.
Well, it works to a point. It seems to break time, though. Time's not very happy about it, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it works in the sense that it let him change it, kind of.
Because what happens is this shock wave goes out through time, and it freezes Mona, it freezes, Sarah mid-jump kick with the puppet on the ship. And the only people who aren't frozen are Charlie and Zari on the jump ship. Charlie, who's got her powers back, and is A-okay. She's like, hey, this is fantastic, I'm back to normal.
Look, I'm the freaking queen again.
But Zari has turned into a cat.
And suddenly, the episode title for the next one that I saw all those weeks ago makes sense.
I'm going to go look at it right now and see what it says. Legends of To Meow Meow. I like it.
Yeah.
So, what I like about this is that I don't think there'll be a lot of plot with the puppet or the Mona stuff. I think there'll be a little bit once they get fixed. I think the bulk of this next episode will be a Charlie focused episode because she's the only one who can fix everything, and her and her cat.
Well, see, I know we're doing an alternate reality thing, so we're seeing different versions of all the characters.
Oh, okay. So maybe they're not just paused then. It's going to actually.
It'll be like a Doom World-esque.
Okay, but you only know that because you've read that already.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just theorizing based on what I've seen.
I happened to read that like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They mentioned it's going to happen.
All right, okay, so we'll see alternate versions. But I like the idea that Charlie will become more part of the team because she actually has to fix this to make everything right.
Yeah, it feels very reminiscent of Zari's episode last season where she became part of the team, the time loop team.
Yeah. And that time loop episode was probably my favorite episode of the last season.
It was a great episode, yeah. And I just mean in the sense that, no, this is her episode. This is the one where she understands the team at last.
Yeah, where she has to fix everything because everything's went wrong.
Yeah,
and it's actually, it'll be an element of sacrifice because she has to give up her powers again to fix it because
at least temporarily.
Because if she reverses everything back, then
she's cursed again.
Yeah, she's back to being normal again. So yeah, so I like what this is set up. I think the episode is enjoyable. I think it's kind of got a weird flow to it because it is these 3 separate plots that are all kind of equal.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with any two-parter that it's clearly a two-parter. It's one half of an episode. It's hard to hold it against it too much in the long run because typically, if you come across a two-parter now from an old show,
you just watch them together.
You just watch it as one thing, and it's fine. But if they're aired separately, it's weird.
Yeah. So no, I thought it was good. I think it's got a bit of a weird kind of flow to it that made it feel a little bit weaker, I guess, than some of the previous episodes, but not to a great extent. Just enough where I was kind of like, oh, this feels kind of weird, and then I realized it was ending. I was like, oh, okay, this is a cliffhanger. Okay, I haven't done that in a while. Not in this way, anyway.
Yeah. Still a fun episode, though.
Yeah. No, it was good. Because the puppet stuff and all that was just kind of the fun backdrop to the real story that was going on.
It was schlocky fun.
Yeah. So no, good time as per usual on Legends. So no, so we'll move on then to arguably the main event of the week, because The Flash had its 100th episode, and it's called What's Past Is Prologue. It happens to be episode 8 of season 5, and in this they realise that to defeat Cicada, they need some sort of magnet that'll like capture his dagger. So okay, we'll need dark matter for this, we'll need this, and we'll need that. And the 3 things they need, they can actually get in the past. Nora has this plan. She's like, hey, how about this, guys? How about we travel back in time to when these things were around, and we get them. So one is season 3's Savitar fight. One is towards the end of season 2, just after Barry lost his powers to Zoom. And one is seeing Wells back in season 1, at the same time that Barry already went back in time to see Wells, which I actually like that detail because it was very like just ridiculous, over the top, complicated. That Barry from the future was in the scene, and then this Barry.
So was another Barry from the future.
So we had 3 Barrys in this timeline at the same time, because we had knocked out Barry. The original Barry was knocked out in the alleyway.
Yeah. OG Barry lying on the ground.
Yeah. Taking those L's like he does. So yeah, so that's the premise of the 100th episode, which is kind of obvious. It's a way to like have the nostalgia of the previous seasons, kind of in some way. Obviously, you hear Tony Todd as Zoom. I was actually thinking because there's some clips obviously past episodes as they're there like behind the scenes watching things play out. I was like, did they actually get any of the actors to come back? And funnily enough, Jay, aka Hunter Zolomon, there is actually like a new quick bit of dialogue with him.
Yeah.
Where he's like, hey, who's this you're with? Oh, it's a speedster. Oh, I want to steal those powers. So that was nice. It was nice to actually get him back for like a little new moment.
Yeah, get him in for a day.
Yeah, that was nice. It was nice to have him back. No Eddie, I noticed though. There was no Eddie shoehorning in.
Yeah, he's been flash pointed out.
It's also a shame that Joe had to miss it, because obviously it was just a health thing, but it's a shame that he missed the 100th.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. It's what can you do? But he's been such a big part.
Yeah, it's been, yeah. So, but that's the premise, and Barry and Nora. Barry's not going to let Nora come at first, and then like Iris is like, no, hey, let her go, let her be part of this. And he kind of, okay, fine, Nora can come, and she's all happy. And they go running off, and we get a chance in each time frame for her to see something that maybe like lets her look at her parents a little bit differently. First time, she's a little bit miffed at the fact that Iris shot evil Barry from the future.
Did she know that Savitar was evil Barry?
I think she did. There's definitely
because her reaction felt like she maybe didn't.
There's definitely other things she didn't know that gets brought up in this episode, but I'm iffy on that. She didn't know that her mother shot him, though. I think seeing her do that was definitely the biggest thing there. And then when they go back to the Zoom part of the timeline, she sees Iris like kind of like give Barry a pep talk. And do you know what? I was laughing during this scene because we always joke how they always go out into the hallway for a talk.
Hallway scene, yeah.
And I love the idea that we actually retconned in a hallway scene for a pep talk that we didn't get at the time through time travel.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny. At least I don't remember seeing that scene at the time. Maybe it was.
I don't remember seeing it, but at the same time,
it's been a while.
It feels like it could have been there.
Yeah, it's been a while, so maybe we did see that. But the angles we were seeing it from were definitely new.
Yes, it was definitely reshot.
From her POV.
We did see it originally.
So that's one. My favorite stuff in the episode is when they go back to, Thornwells.
Wellsabard.
There you go. I thought the presence he had as soon as they walked in that room was very effective. I thought Nora being scared to say who she was and being kind of like terrified, which obviously ties into the twist at the end of the episode, the reveal. But obviously he name drops some people here. He name drops, the real Jesse Quick from the comics. He name drops the Batman Beyond speedster.
Was that one?
That was the third one he said. I didn't recognize the middle one.
I remember recognizing it, but I mean, I don't remember who it was now.
Yeah. And then my favorite part though is that he calls her Dawn. When he realizes it's a daughter, he's like, "Oh, your name's Dawn, I believe." And I'm like, "Oh, what's changed since he came back to the present?" Because if you don't know this, Barry and Iris traditionally do have a set of twins that are boy and girl, and they're called Dawn and Dawn, spelled differently, for each gender. But so that was a nice little callback to the comics there.
It was. And his presence, he's so intimidating immediately. It's like, oh, you must be Dawn. He's like, oh, the daughter. Him figuring it out.
Yeah, and do you know what I really liked about it as well? I liked that he has the same realization that he had the last time this happened. Was that, oh wait, if you're here, then that means I don't win. Shit.
Yeah, and it's like, hang on. It's one step further. It's like, hang on. One coming back, I could maybe write off, but two of the bastards.
I love that he just knows. And then I also like that when she says her name is Nora, he's like, oh, at least you've got one of those.
That's such a great line.
That's such a dark freaking line. But no, I like that Barry has to tell her that, no, do you know what he did? He killed my mother. Like that, he went back in time and killed my mother. And she's like, wait, what? That wasn't in the museum. Which again ties into the reveal at the end, because the reveal at the end, of course, is that we've suspected that she has someone that's maybe give her some advice or like encourage her to come back to the present day, and we find out that, and I actually laughed at this, not in a bad way necessarily, kind of in a, how we like to joke that it's always going to be Jay or Eddie.
It's always going to be Wells.
The fact that it turned out to be Thawne from the future actually really made me laugh. Kind of in a good way, though. I was kind of laughing at the absurdity
do you know
of
what?
it.
This might be the only character I let this slide with.
Do you know what this was?
That's Reverse Flash in a nutshell. Like, it just keeps coming back. No matter what happens, that bastard just appears.
Also, it's kind of fitting in the 100th episode, who's really behind what's going on is Thawne. And also, for any wrestling fans, it was me, Austin, it was me all along. It was that moment.
Sure. I know what you're talking about.
The wrestling fans will get that. It's me, Austin, it was me all along. I'm going to tease this episode to Matt and say that's what's coming up.
Just a small. I love that he's got the blonde hair of the other actor.
Yeah. Obviously, he's in a cell. He's all locked up. It's very Silence of the Lambs. Clearly, Nora's been coming and talking to him. Yeah. And I have to wonder if she's coming to talk to him because Iris won't tell her anything. So she's coming to Thawne for information. And I think that's why she goes back to the future at the end to talk to him, because she's learned that he killed her grandmother.
Yeah, because she knows that he's, Flash's arch enemy.
But
she knows he's evil.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that he did that.
No.
And this is obviously going to be her questioning things. But here's the other thing. I've seen a theory that popped up online, and I kind of love it if this is true, for how ridiculous it is.
Is it the one where Sherlock
is also Thawne?
Yeah.
Because he recognises that writing. He is very curious about this writing, almost as if he knows it's his, but this is before he meets her in the future, this version of him. So he's like, he doesn't understand why she has it.
She says she invented it, and he's like,
I invented it.
Yeah.
But this is obviously before he's met her in his timeline. So like, I think he's on to her because this is actually, and see if this is Thawne as well, I'm going to laugh so hard.
Do you know what? It's one of those things that, again, should be just, no, don't do that, right? But it's almost good because it's funny of, no, they fell for it again.
Yeah, Wells again turned out to be Thawne. That is really funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good. So, no. So, for the most part, I dug this 100th, by the way. Just, I mean, if it wasn't clear that I was being mostly positive. I
actually mostly didn't.
Which is funny, because you've agreed with almost everything I've said.
I like those key sections. I like the tag at the end and the implications going forward. And I like the scene, specifically the scene with Welzabard in the past. That's basically it.
I like most of the traveling through time stuff. It was a little bit clip showy.
I think it's clip showy. It's pointless. I don't think any of it really adds much. I think we'd have been better because that's about 2/3 of the episode is this journey through time. And
I think for me though, I liked the other stuff enough and this wasn't actively bad, so it didn't detract from it in the same way. Not that I'm going to say there's no bad stuff in this episode. I'll get to some of the bad stuff in a bit, but because at least I feel like Nora's seeing various elements and learning some of the truth. Because if her whole thing is that she's been lied to by Thawne about what's really been happening, then her seeing all this stuff, at face value is actually worth something.
I get that. It all felt so quick, like we were just going through it, like because we have to. I feel I'd preferred them to pick one moment and do that one moment. Dedicate it.
I get the choice. I like this one way more than the last, 3 or 4? What was the last batch that we've not liked?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I mean, last week's was better than the Icicle one. Don't get me wrong. It had improved a bit, but I definitely enjoyed this one more than I have since the first 2 or 3.
Yeah,
which is oddly kind of like Supergirl in a weird way, but
but do you know one of my other huge complaints with this episode?
Go on.
Why are we still doing Cicada after this? They had it out. They had a right. We'll deal with Cicada in the 100th. Here's Thawne. Yeah. This is what we're doing for the season. Really, Cicada was just a distraction till we got here.
Yeah. Do you know what the funny thing is though? I'm almost going to forgive it because so they show up right and they take his dagger and Cisco vibes it into space
instead of just another Earth.
Right. Which admittedly that would have fixed the problem.
given that they know this guy can summon the dagger from distance.
But what I'm saying is that it's almost worth him winning this fight, or at least getting out of the fight, just for this moment where he pulls it back from space, and then they all realize that he's just pulling it down from the atmosphere or the stratosphere, and I'm like, you didn't see this coming, you idiots! He can pull it towards him like Thor's freaking hammer. Why did you think space was far enough away?
Yeah, I know.
Put it in one of the cells at Star Labs so it can't get out.
Just a different Earth. You breach to any Earth you want. Just send it to Earth X.
Put it in the nuclear Earth that they put the nuclear explosion at that one time.
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah. But
Cisco's there, Brian's like, I just sent it into space, bitch. And he's like, all right, cool.
You shouldn't have told him, because now he knows what to point. It's just, for me, it was like, I was enjoying the emotion, because I like Nora a lot, actually. I think Nora's has had her problems where they had the Irish drama that was a bit much, right? That was kind of tedious.
Yeah.
For a couple of episodes. But I've typically liked Nora. I like how genuine she feels when she seems to learn things or care about her parents. That stuff seems to work more for me. So I liked her stuff with Thawne for, Welzabard. I liked that stuff. I liked her going back and seeing, Barry's parents and wanting to intervene. And almost a joke where she's like, do you ever think about coming back and stopping it? And he's like, well, so that wasn't in the Flash Museum either then.
Yeah.
Never mentioned Flashpoint.
Did they nerf Barry's speed again?
Did they nerf his speed?
Yeah, because when he came out the Speed Force or whatever it was, and they were like, no, earlier this season, no one's ever gone that fast.
Yeah.
And then Zoom almost caught him, and it's like, oh, good job that Time Wraith came in and helped out.
Yeah, that's one of those wonky things where it's like, well, how fast was Zoom? Was he that much faster than Barry at the time? Probably not.
But we would literally, no one has ever gone as fast as Barry just is now.
Yeah, but he's only going as slow or as fast as Nora can go because he can't leave her behind. There you go.
Pick her up.
He's matching Nora's speed. There's your excuse.
Pick her up and go.
Honestly, some of the bullshit things I've tried to justify in this show, not in a serious way because I want to defend it, just in the fun of trying to make it work. This is one of the least egregious ones.
That's fair.
He was keeping up with Nora's speed, that's all.
I have another serious question. So, the way that they...
Actually, before we move on to anything else, just to go back to the cicada fight, obviously Killer Frost isn't affected by the power dampening because she's not a meta, right? Fine. She got her power somewhere else. Okay.
That's where I was actually getting to.
But before that, though, the flying away. I need to talk about Cicada flying away like Thor. Because it's the exact same thing where Thor throws his hammer and flies with it. He just sort of puts his hand up and he just goes whoosh.
At least Thor has a strap that he swings it on first, and there's momentum. He's just like, ha!
It just looked really funny. Like, this is the thing. The Cicada fight went from enjoying the drama of the Nora stuff and the teasing about, Thawne, to this is just so bad it's funny now.
To why? Why was this not your time to get rid of Cicada? What are you doing?
That's fair. That's a fair question. Like, I'm actually thrilled that he's sticking around, but he's made me laugh 2 episodes in a row, though, so, I mean, that's an improvement.
It's true. But we mentioned Caitlin, right? And how, okay, she's not from Dark Matter.
Yeah, that's the reason specifically. She was not created from Dark Matter. Her powers.
Which is fine, but what about Nora? Because she didn't get it from Dark Matter. It was an inherited thing.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that the trace of where it came from still applies because it's hereditary. Okay. She came from someone who was affected by Dark Matter.
Sure.
Look, do you remember that stupid episode, the Christmas one, where they released all the drones in the air to go into all the houses to fix everyone because they were all infected with something? Right? This show has pulled off some stupid reasoning before.
It has, and Look,
nothing.
You have never forgotten the lasers.
Yeah, nothing's ever topping the goddamn lasers that get frozen. All right, that is never being topped.
Now, I'm not saying this is as egregious as the lasers.
It's not. This is murky. This is like the time travel rules. They just seem to make things up as they go along.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's happening with Thorne's timeline anymore. Especially after that Legends season.
I'm going to assume the one that Nora's seen in the future was it 2040, 2044, something like that.
2049.
49. Oh yeah, because I laughed in my head and went, oh, it's Flash 2049. Like Blade Runner.
Yeah. It's conveniently exactly 40 years ahead of where the season finale will be.
That it is. Also, it's so far ahead. Unlike Arrow's flash forwards, where we could conceivably go on all 10 seasons and overlap
we're not going 40 years.
No. Not unless Grant Gustin's doing this in his 60s. And we'll be in our 60s reviewing it, for the record.
He'll just he's playing Jay at that point, right?
he's old man Barry. We get Dawn and Dawn. Nora can't be younger though because the actress is obviously the same age, or in fact older than Barry is. So.
You could technically recast when you got to that point in the timeline.
True. We could have a young 12-year-old Nora and build her up from there. And
then have her go off and do her adventures and come back.
And it's like, oh, look, Nora's back. She's looking a bit different. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe if they push it off long enough, they can have Jessica Parker Kennedy's daughter, if she has a daughter, play Nora in the future.
Convenient, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that would look alike. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we just turn the show into a soap?
We kind of did, yeah. One would debate how unlike a soap it was before, but
that would be a fair point.
No, maybe my standards have dropped so much with Flash that this was enough for me, but I kind of enjoyed episode 100 for the most part.
I was so disappointed.
I liked it way more than the last 3 or 4 episodes, so I mean, that's something.
Yeah, I'll give it that. It's a low bar, and I wanted more from the 100. I really did.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel as special as it should have because you think of other shows that had big 100th episodes.
Yeah.
And they feel like big deals. They feel like things that, because I feel like an episode 100 in many ways should re-encapsulate what the point of the show is. And I don't know if this did that.
In a way, it did. This show isn't about Barry.
It's about Thawne.
It's about Thawne. It's about Wells. It's about Kavanagh, who also directed this.
He did direct the episode.
This is his show now.
So yeah, I mean, whatever.
We never got back to the point we were talking about the timeline of Thawne.
Oh yeah, I would guess that the one in the future is post Crisis X. I think he's the furthest along we've seen, is my guess.
Yeah, he has to. He certainly he has to be a continuation of the version that we visited back in this episode.
Yeah, because he hears about Cicada. This essentially gives him the idea to manipulate Nora in the future.
Yeah. So it has to be post that, but he's also got the blonde hair, so he's reverting back to his natural form a little bit.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, he's at the very least, the whole technology to change his face, like his hair roots will still grow out in that form.
Yeah, that could be it. But we're going places. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with screw it. Let's do Thawne again because it's Reverse Flash. You should be doing Thawne again.
If anything, I actually kind of respect them that they waited to the 100th episode to do it properly. Because he's had a couple of cameo episodes. He was in Legends for a season, of course.
Which was a lot of fun.
But they waited till season 5 to do it full on again, seemingly. And that's actually more restraint than I'd expect from a
Yeah, Flash. I know some people aren't too happy. It's like, oh, we're back to speedster villains. And technically,
I'm okay
yes.
with it being Thawne. I was disappointed that they kept making more speedster villains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, technically, yes, we're back to speedsters instead of Cicada, but Cicada's shit, and it's Thawne. So, yeah, let's do this.
Well, Nora, come clean with the family. We should tell them about where she'd be getting her information from.
Well, she balls.
Yeah.
That's not how CW shows work. You need secrets.
Is Sherlock Wells really Thawne as well?
I'm trying to think of, is there a way that he keeps correcting Sherlock? Is that a clue?
Is that a clue?
Is it a clue?
Oh dear. Or is he that Earth? Whatever Earth he comes from, is he that Earth's Thawne?
Thawne is consistent across all Earths.
Sure. All right.
He's a multiversal constant.
Oh, and I should point out, I did like Ralph playing the song from Back to the Future when they're because he's not really been around for the time travel before, so he's like, oh, time travel,
and he's like, how's this work? When do they come back? And it's like, for us, they'll just be back in a second.
Yes. So that was fun. I mean, I suppose the problem with the premise of this episode is that it means that outside of a couple of scenes at the start and the end, most of the cast are only seen through archive footage. It's only Barry, Nora, and Wells who get a chance to really do anything.
It's kind of shitty for your 100th episode to relegate most of your cast for that. It doesn't feel like a celebration of the show as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I like what the episode did. I like what it set up. I like most of the stuff with Nora. But
yeah, that's my thing. I like the outcome of what the point is of the episode. I just didn't really enjoy watching most of it. It's just frustrating.
Okay. Are you still thinking it's more positive than the last few, though?
Yeah, but I've not been super hot.
I'm just saying, we're at least the trend's in the right direction, mildly.
Yeah, mildly. It has Wellsabard, so it's better.
That said, it didn't have every meta will die. Didn't have that.
It had it in the previous one.
Oh, did I actually have that clip? I can't remember.
It did, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that's Flash. All right, well, after that, and this has been a long episode because I believe we're already at about 2 hours or so. So this one's definitely been split for the audio folk. This is Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 8. It's called The Book of Rebellion, Chapter 1, Exodus. So we had Jennifer and Khalil running off, and they retconned in a reason for why his hair grew so quick in Season 1.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it because it's kind of the same thing that was on Legends this week.
Yeah, but Legends is a goofy cartoon.
Sure, but he mentions that the stuff that he was taking to help his legs also grew his hair really quick because it was like growth hormones or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go on the run and he steals some money from some gangsters and it gets them into a bit of a fight. I tell you what I liked about this episode. I liked that it did kind of all revolve around trying to find her. Like they kind of treated it like she's missing. Even Henderson, like even though he's in a kind of a weird place with Jefferson right now, he's like, no, that's not my niece. I'm going to this matters.
Yeah, of course I'll help.
Because I really like the scene where he got a call, and I like that the episode didn't try and like pretend to us that this was Jennifer. It never.
No, but he didn't know. Yeah, was the point.
Like, it never tried to like give it to us like, oh, Jennifer might be dead, but he gets a call about a girl who's been found in a ditch dead, and it matches Jennifer's, and we know she's fine. We've not seen anything to imply that she's actually been in danger, but it kind of worked because it was acted really well, where he really looked like he was terrified that he was going to find her body.
And it's when he gets there and sees her and the relief of just like, oh, thank God.
But then he feels kind of bad for feeling relieved because someone did die. Like, this poor girl is still dead. Someone
cares as much as he does about.
Exactly. You know. So I like the drama of that quite a bit. So that was good. The Jennifer and Khalil stuff, I don't think it was as bad as you might have been expecting it to be.
I found it pretty tedious.
Of course you did.
Yeah, this is my least favorite episode of maybe the show.
Okay.
I'm really not feeling this Khalil Jennifer plot at all.
Well, luckily it's only like 2 or 3 parts, and then you're back.
Yeah, I think it's 3. Yeah. So get it over and done with.
Yeah. I don't have much. I mean, I still think Khalil's my least favorite character of everyone. No question. But there was some jokes in there, like she's shaving his head, so his dreads are gone. But she says he looked like Whoopi Goldberg, which was funny. And then when he's like, "Okay, we need to do your hair now, so you look different," and she's like, "No, you ain't touching my hair." And it's funny because he starts off the scene being like, "Oh, do we have to cut my hair?" Because he clearly likes his hair. And then she's like, "No, you ain't touching my hair. This is a weave. It's an expensive weave. You ain't touching it. I will light you up if you try and touch my hair."
She's very defensive.
Which I thought was funny. I thought it was a funny scene. Everyone's searching for her. I like Nyssa giving Gambi shit for telling lies.
Yeah. The all those for them being like, oh hey, Gambi's alive. Felt underwhelming. You know when they're when they're seeing him and they're just like, oh okay, I guess this is it now.
Sure. We kind of had it with Jefferson last week, so it wasn't
right. But I thought they would have a bigger moment, a bit of a reaction. It felt like just really brushed over. It
feels right to me that Nyssa's the one who gives him shit, though. It feels right that she's the one who turns around and doesn't just accept it, right? Because it feels like that's fitting to her character. And I like that when she does call him out on it, he kind of like, yeah, is it that different to you lying about your father about stealing money from, like, drug lords and stuff? And she's like, that's way different. It's like, is it that different? You're
Is
still
it though?
lying.
Yeah.
So she does kind of give in after that. She just kind of shifts to just, all right, fine, Jed. Right, we'll end this conversation here because I've got nothing to say to that. We'll
Yeah.
move on. We'll move on and find her. And they go looking, and there's a bit of hide and seek. Tobias brings in another villain, an assassin of sorts, to hunt down
Yeah.
Khalil.
Has Tobias been talking to the painting before now? Have I just forgotten this, or is this new?
No, this is new that he's still talking to his sister.
Yeah. I didn't realize he did it. Like, was doing that now.
Yeah. Well, because at first it was just like a one scene thing, and then he kind of referenced it with the assassin at one point, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, right, so he's actually talking to, and like almost as if she's talking back to him.
Maybe she is.
Maybe she is. You know, meta things involved. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows indeed. And he also goes and intimidates Khalil's mother, who's how they end up finding where Jennifer and Khalil are, because it's his mother, it's his auntie that they go and hide out with for a bit. I like that Jennifer's smart enough, because Khalil's like, oh, can we not go and stay at one of your friends? And she's like, don't be an idiot. That is the first place my parents would look. I'm like, okay, Jen's got the smarts.
Yeah, bit of common sense is what it really is.
Yeah, Khalil wasn't thinking clearly with that.
Khalil doesn't think about much.
Nah. Well, because he gets a temper at one point. He yells at her when she wants to phone her parents to let them know she's okay.
Yeah, I thought that was comically bad.
It's probably the worst scene of the episode. I won't argue with that.
Yeah. I genuinely laughed at that being quite bad.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't think they're going down this path. I thought they were for a second when that scene happened, but the rest of the episode kind of played it differently. But I thought we were going down the path where he was going to slowly become more like aggressive and abusive.
Yeah, I thought that too. It could still happen, but
it could, but it didn't feel like it. The way they presented everything else for the rest of it didn't feel that way. At least
I agree.
At least not yet. I mean, maybe they'll swerve.
I think the problem is that they teased it and then went, no, we're not doing that. So if they do end up doing that now, it'll feel a bit weird.
Yeah, and she has to shock a tracker out of the back of his head.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was amusing enough because he's quite scared about it. He's like, no, go back to the knife.
Yeah, I'd take the knife. Here's the thing. You take the knife, yeah, sure, I'm going to bleed, it's going to hurt. You misjudge that electric, my brain is fried.
Yeah.
I know which one I'm going to take.
Yeah, but I know which one you're also hoping for in this scene.
No, I'm saying if it was me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying you're all for his brain getting fried.
I mean, I am, but I never expect that was never a possibility. Yeah. That was never on the table.
Yeah. We also had Nissa calling out her dad, being like, "Hey, are you surprised that she tried to run away?" You know.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I like that. I think this show is very good at characters calling out other characters for their bullshit.
Yes, it's very un-CW in that sense.
Yeah, it's very good at doing that. And I think that worked quite well. So I appreciate that. And Lynn is, Lynn had a bad week already because she lost all those kids, and she was like, going, drowning down in a bottle because of it. And now her daughter's ran away, and she doesn't know she's going to get her back, and she's like, wrecking her room, and just like, again, it was effective. I think the acting and how it's, I mean, if she does this every episode for a long time, it will get repetitive. But
yeah, we'll get sick of it. But in a short dose of no, this is when it makes sense.
It does make sense because she was already bad off, and now it's like, oh, now your daughter's ran away.
Oh, absolutely.
Her life is crumbling.
Yeah,
her life is crumbling. So I appreciate that too. So no, I thought that was a pretty solid episode. I got the Khalil stuff for years and maybe dragging it down, but
yeah, and it was even things like when Khalil's fighting his way through the club. I thought it was really well shot.
I agree, it was, yeah.
But the red light was so pervasive that I found it hard to actually focus on the choreography. It detracted from the sequence for me. I get it's supposed to be this mood lighting, but I feel like it was overdone, and it was actually taking away from the movement that I was watching.
And I can't remember this red light, so it never stuck out to me as much.
The whole room was bathed in red.
Okay, in my mind, I just don't really remember that. I just remember the fight scene.
Fair enough.
I mean, I thought it was well shot, like you said. And then, Jennifer having to, do a electro ball to.
Yeah. Because last episode, it felt like she knew that the tracker was there and she was blocking it, right?
Well, that's how we read it at the time. I wonder, because she just turned all the power in the alley, though. I wondered if she just turned everything off, and it wasn't so much that she was blocking the tracker.
But I thought that was the reason why she turned everything off. Is like, okay, block the tracker. They can't.
No,
find
I think it was just to turn off all the lights so that you can sneak around.
Okay, fair enough.
I think we just interpreted it at the time as
it was just maybe convenient timing that.
It was a byproduct of what she did that turned off the signal.
Okay, I think that was maybe portrayed a little. It did not quite as well as it could have been from a filmmaking perspective, in the sense that we felt like that was what was happening, and it clearly wasn't.
Well, I don't know if I felt she was specifically doing it for that ever, though.
Okay, I definitely felt that, like, she was aware of it and was blocking it in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that. I felt it was more just a general. It was kind of like one of those scenes where Batman shows up and he turns off all the lights so that, like, the villains have got a disadvantage kind of thing.
I get that. I think it was in the way that the way that it was shot, it's showing us the tracker, showing us that the guys were tracking him with it. They were following.
Why would you think she would know it's there though? Because of her powers, she could sense it. She could sense power there.
In the same way that Jefferson can, right?
Actually, I liked how he's trying to hotwire the car and he's shit at it. And when she said, "Oh, hey, I've got this," and I thought, wait, how are they going to justify that she knows how to do this? And then she just like uses her finger to spark it, and I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, it's just a power.
Yeah.
Fine. Whatever. Yeah. That makes sense. That actually works. Fine.
Yeah, it does.
Well, at least in my limited knowledge of how to hotwire a car, anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
It looks good enough. I'll let it go.
The point being is that it's not. They weren't telling us she's trained how to do this or she knows what she's doing. It's just no, she can zap
that
it.
That would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Her zapping it, no, that's fine. But
yeah.
her actually knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything about her life does not tell me she's learned how to hotwire a car.
No chance.
But yeah. So no.
Although, if she did, she definitely learned it from Gambi.
That's true. Gambi could have taught. That's exactly the sort of thing Gambi teaches people.
It's like, you might need to know this someday.
Gambi knows how to hotwire things. He knows how to lockpick. He knows how to turn off alarm systems. Gambi, if he wasn't such a Black Ops type dude, he would be a good thief. He's very. It's kind of his thing, right? He knows how to do all this stuff. So no, I like this episode quite a bit. I think it's weird for me that I actually kind of liked all the shows this week. Even Arrow, I had a relative amount of positive things to say.
You
know, when Arrow finished, I didn't hate the fact that I watched it, which is a notable improvement over the norm.
I don't remember how I felt at the end of Arrow.
Blind drunk, that's how you felt.
I'll be honest, I know that I got to the end of Arrow. I don't remember the ending.
Because, I mean, everything's had its faults. Like, nothing's had a perfect episode this week.
No, it hasn't.
But generally speaking, there was none that I was annoyed at by the end, which has not been the case for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Where Flash and Supergirl typically, and usually Arrow as well. Last week was just the notable exception. Were kind of bringing me down a little bit. So that's kind of nice. So I thought it was a solid episode. I like what it set up. I like that it didn't just solve it, because I was worried that they were going to have her back by the end of the episode.
Yeah, that would have been worse.
And I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad that it's going to be a couple of parts.
For me, it's a double-edged sword in that it has to feel naturally paced.
Yeah.
But also, I want this bit to be over, right?
Yeah. And of course, the big thing, of course, is that at the end, and I appreciate this, is that Tobias is smart enough to put a couple of things together at the end, because wait, what? Black Lightning showed up? What? It's like, that's the second time he's
about Khalil.
Yeah, that's the second time he's shown up for Khalil. Actually, no, it's the second time or third time that he's shown up for the Pierce girl, and you just watch him think, like, he's putting it together, and I like that, because he should be able to put this together now.
He should. He's a smart man. We know that.
Yes,
and
evil,
I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's quite there, but he's
thinking
close,
about
if
it.
Not.
Yeah, he's entertaining the possibility that she is connected to Black Lightning in some way.
Yeah, I don't think he's jumped to her father. Must be.
Yeah.
But he's aware that whoever it is has an attachment to her.
Yeah.
Some sort.
And if he meets Jefferson Pierce again, I can't imagine it would take much of a leap to look at him up and down and go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're about the same size as Black Lightning, similar haircut.
I could see it.
Yeah.
That's it. We're gonna get mock-ups of him putting the mask over photos of various people. Like you'll get one of like Henderson. And he'll get to Jeffson and be like, "That's it."
Yeah. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal that he's maybe going to realize who Black Lightning is. And that'll give him a vested interest in Jennifer. Because up until now, she's just been kind of with Khalil. He's not really cared about her, but he might now.
I think next week might end with him kind of definitively being aware. With next week being the mid-season.
Possibly even capturing the two of them. And so we'll end with Black Lightning and that have to come and save them.
Yeah. I do think it's a little weird that this is a 3-part book and we're going to have the break after part 2.
Yeah, I think that's just an unfortunate side effect of they didn't... Like, CW didn't schedule it based on their chapter, and they just...
Yeah, I think there's an unfortunate side effect. I'm hoping that at the very least it's got a moment that feels like, no, that's where we break on.
I think Tobias learning who Black Lightning is definitively, or capturing Jennifer and Khalil, would be a good cliffhanger moment.
I agree, yeah.
For that. And it'll come back. And at least then it's good that that's the one that's coming back and not wait until April like Legends.
Yeah.
Because then it's only a month as opposed to, 3-4 months.
Far too long.
Yeah. Whereas Legends is finishing its cliffhanger next week so that it can go on break without us being mad.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still mad.
Yeah, well, madder.
That's true. I'm less mad than if it was a cliffhanger.
There you go. So, yeah, solid. So, that'll bring us on to the part of the show here at the end where we pick our favourite episode of the week. So, Arrow did the impossible last week and won. As much as I still didn't hate this one, it still had a lot of bad things, so there's no way it's winning again.
It's not there, no.
No, not happening. So, we have Titans, Donna Troy. We have Flash's 100th. We have Supergirl's episode, Bunker Hill. And we got Legends, Hell No Dolly. Took me an extra second to think of that one there for some reason. Shouldn't have done. So what are you thinking for your favourite? I think there's an odd thing this week where there's a lot of consistency.
I think maybe for me there's only 2 options.
Right.
Would you care to guess the 2 options?
Legends.
Okay.
Probably Supergirl.
You're wrong on one of those.
If it's not that, it's Titans.
It's not Legends.
It's not Legends?
No. As Legends enjoyable, but it's so it's just part 1.
Okay,
I can't in good conscience.
I'll be honest, I was going with the expected meme answer of Connor just always picks Legends, and it bit me.
It's a nice safety backup, isn't it?
So it's Titans and Supergirl then?
It is. Supergirl, because it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, it was.
And Titans, but it has a couple of things that hold it back. For me, the building, the wife turn, just a handful of things here or there that I'm like, Titans, everything with Donna Troy, I like more than Supergirl.
Okay.
But it has a few other scenes here or there that I've just are absolutely much worse. So it's kind of tough.
One thing that's interesting, just comparing Supergirl and Flash, is how they're kind of mirroring each other this year, where they had a few reasonable good episodes at the start, then a little slate of shitty ones,
and then better for the mid-season,
and then better for mid-season, outright good, you might say.
I wouldn't go that far for one of them.
Sure, but in Supergirl, I think you'd say that, right?
I would for Supergirl, yeah. I would say Supergirl was a good episode.
I'd say Flash was goodish for me. Well, there's stuff that I quite liked about it. I think what I like about both of them is I really like what it's left them for the next half of the season. I like where it's left them.
That I agree with, yeah.
Going into the next thing, I think it's set up some interesting stuff. My pick of the week is Supergirl. I think. I think it had the full package. It had the least amount of things I didn't like, because the one thing you didn't like in Supergirl, I did.
It's true.
So the weird pacing, perhaps, of the Manchester Black stuff is maybe the only thing that's a little bit murky. I like the big stupid moment that you didn't. I like where it leaves off with her and the president, with her and her identity, with her and Liberty being even more powerful now, and I like all that stuff. So
I agree with that. Just for the hell of it, I'm going to give it to Titans.
Sure.
It gets because it's never going to do it again.
I think you can definitively say that.
I can. I know. So Arrow's never going to do it again.
It's not even that I'm saying that it's not possible that Titans could be so good that it'll beat everything. You're just telling me you don't believe there's going to be a week where everything has an off week and Titans just wins by default?
Do you know what? I'll tell you the week Titans wins again. It's when it slips and into the off season and Titans just happens to be the DC Universe show that's on during the summer on its own.
Well, that's weird though, because they even pick a best of the week when it's the only new thing on.
Exactly, it wins by default.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say that, but that's fair. No. Now, I enjoyed everything to varying degrees this week.
Fair enough.
Varying degrees.
I enjoyed half, and then Arrow, I don't remember enough to definitively say either way. And then,
so you enjoyed half of at least every episode, except Arrow, which you can't comment on.
No, but see, Flash and Black Lightning have lowered out. I definitely didn't enjoy Flash. Black Lightning is technically better, but I didn't enjoy it.
Okay. No, I like Black Lightning. I liked what Flash set up. Flash was definitely not as good as Supergirl. It definitely had more problems.
Definitely. Yeah.
Had more wrinkles, but everything with Thawne Wells was good. So
yeah.
And what it set up with Nora going forward, I like. And then the mystery, the joke mystery of, well, do we have more than one Thawne? Do we have multiple Thawnes?
Also, can we talk about the fact that we have a language that can definitively keep track of things across timelines?
Even when things change.
And we used it for This House is Bitchin'.
Well, see, I always took the House is Bitchin' thing to be like, it's not that Nora like setting that there, it's more that that's something that was recorded about what happened and he just happened to see it. That's what he wrote on the wall.
Yeah, but why that? Like, why is that the phrase that we're going with?
I don't know, but it was funny thinking about it.
It was
So, you know, and then the cicada stuff was just laughably bad, but it was laughable enough that I actually kind of had fun laughing at it. And how stupid the team were that they didn't think we can just pull it back from space. See when it cut to, see when he put his hand up and it just cut to space and it started coming back. I was like, oh, you idiots, you freaking idiots.
I was waiting for it. It was Rita throwing down the staff.
Oh, make my monster grow.
That's what the shot looked like. God, that's 2 Power Rangers references this week. What's going on?
We must find Nia at once. Yes. Oh yeah, and Brainy, Nia, and Kara's chemistry was great. So that's another positive highlight of the week. But that is the end of the show. That has been Television from the Multiverse, episode 55, I believe we're on. So you can let us know what you thought of any of the episodes this week. Obviously, next week's a big week because it's the crossover, and then we're on to off season. Which, by the way, the second poll, the first poll went up last week. The second poll, which had I remembered, would have been up already, but it will be up by the time this goes live.
I thought you were going to tell us the results then.
No. The second poll for the second show we'll do in the off season, the second hour-long show, will be up by the time this goes live on YouTube, MailFuzz TV, and again, it'll be if you click in the community tab, it'll be either the top post or near the top, just like before.
He's going to go and put it up right now.
I'm going to go put it up right now, so I can actually tell you what's on it because I know what we're putting on it. We're putting on the 70s Wonder Woman show, the 90s Flash, which again is only one season, but that's okay, and 50 Superman. So we got some classic stuff in there. And
I'm disappointed he refuses to do Batman.
Why are you telling them that? They could let that be a mystery that it's just we're just not doing that. Well, no.
I want it on record that you're a dick who doesn't like it.
Well, Gotham won the other vote, and then we're doing animated Batman. I don't want 3 Batman shows at the same time.
Why not? We're going into the year of the Batman.
Too much Batman. People want some other things. Want some variety.
Batman. Everyone loves Batman. No one wants other things.
Have you met Matt?
I know. I'm hoping he watches just that moment and gets angry.
Have you met Matt? So go vote. So that's 90s Flash, 70s Wonder Woman, 50s Superman, and we'll do. So the idea is we'll do a classic season of like one of those. Not that 90s Flash is that old comparatively, but it feels kind of on that sort of timeline of like the older shows. And then we're doing Gotham, which won the other vote, and we'll be doing 2 episodes a week of the animated Batman series. So that's the plan.
Because I got the new Blu-ray and want an excuse to watch it.
Plus, of course, DC Universe's show, whatever it may be at the time. So it'll be Titans while it's finished, and then it'll be Young Justice. Which, by the way, we found out Young Justice is going to be 3 episodes a week. So
we're going to kill us.
We're going to be doing 3 episodes of Young Justice. I mean, the upside is there's less other shows in total. So it'll be, I think once that comes on, it'll be 3 Young Justice, an episode of Gotham, an episode of whatever wins the next vote, and 1 Batman anime. I think it'll just be 1 Batman, actually, because there's going to be 3 Young Justice.
Yeah.
And then that kind of works out. So.
And to be honest, Young Justice only starts up like a week or 2 before Flash comes back, I believe.
Yeah, so it won't be that long, but when we hit that, then that's when it's going to happen.
My concern is when we get into the main rut of shows. At the moment, I watch Titans while on the process to getting drunk for Arrow with you on the evening of whichever is most suitable.
Well, we'll just swap it with Flash then. Flash can be drunk before Arrow.
That solves my problem. That's fine. Because I was going to say this means I've got an extra show to watch.
I think Flash is bad enough. I don't think it's as bad as Arrow. At least, well, it never used to be at least. But
Thorn.
Yeah, you could have fun drinking at Thorn. It's fine. There you go.
I'm downing for the Sherlock reveal.
There won't actually be that many off-season episodes. When we actually looked at the schedule, there'll be maybe like 4 of them, because I think we're taking 1 week off.
1 week off over New Year's. Basically, the week when Titans finishes, there's a week between that and Young Justice starting.
Yeah, we're taking that week off. This is just a week's break since it's a nice time for it. And then, so we'll have some off-season up until that, and then 1 or 2 off-seasons after that, and then the shows are back. There's a week that Flash comes back, but nothing else does. At least that's what we're seeing right now in the schedule. It'll be a weird mixture of, like, we'll do Flash and Young Justice mixed with maybe some Batman animated series or maybe one of the other things.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that'll be a weird week where it'll be kind of a mix. But so the second vote's important though. There's the vote YouTube, Mailed Fuzz TV, Community tab, and it'll be near the top, if not the top, and it'll be up before I post this, so it'll be there when you hear or see this. So check it out. Obviously, if you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv, and you can support us over there for as little as $1 per month and show your support. You can do that, of course, as well by liking, subscribing, and all that. It helps out YouTube's algorithms, so it's worth doing if you want to help us out. But otherwise, that is us. Get us on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening, and we always appreciate it. Keep watching silly superhero TV shows. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.